WGNS Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, streaming worldwide on WGNSSports.com, and always at the game. The game. It's where you've had breakfast with the coaches since 1992. It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner. We'll talk to the coaches about their most recent games and their upcoming opponents. Now from News Radio WGNS, it's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome in to the Coaches Conversation here on this Saturday. Boy, do we have a great show planned for you. We're talking some hoops with a few of our teams that are still out there and playing, and it's baseball and softball. It's that, time of the year crossover. We have it, in football and basketball, and now here with basketball and spring sports. And Danny Brewer joins me here this morning as well for a couple of minutes. And speaking of sports, this is the sports community coming together today, Danny, and a special event over at Smyrna for Janae Edmondson and the family and help with medical bills and such, right?
Absolutely right, Brian. We are extremely proud to be able to do this for the family. The 11 to 1 is the times. It's going to be a drive-through donation. You just drive through there, drop off your donation. There's going to be barbecue, Ship Dogs Barbecue, Around the Corner Barbecue. They're teaming up together, so there'll be food over there. All of the proceeds, every penny collected today goes directly to the family. Last week I challenged everybody. I'm challenging everybody today. Show up and let's show what kind of sports community we have, because I think it's the greatest sports community in the whole doggone country, and this is our chance to show it for a great cause. My heart goes out to the family. I get tears in my eyes when I think about this because it's so very tragic, but here's our chance to do something. Let's show support for these people. Yeah, and
again, every dollar that's raised, even the food is being, when you purchase food, I guess all that's being donated, is it not?
Absolutely right. Ship Dog and Around the Corner said, hey, whatever money we take in, every penny we take in goes directly to the family. Also, there's going to be stickers there that Laura Prince has made up that's going to be donated. There's going to be wristbands, all kinds of stuff that you can get to show your support for Janae Edmondson and her family. So, hey, let's play for Janae.
11 to 1 today, so I hope folks will come by for that. And that's at Smyrna High School on the campus there. Is it in the big parking lot to the side of the building?
What we're going to do is, yes, you can drive up right in front of the school bus lanes.
Okay.
So drive up, because what we thought is, so you drive in, you pull up, and then there's that exit that's on the other end of the school, so it'll be easy to come in the entrance, the main entrance right there, and then you pull in front of the school, and then you can go out the other entrance.
Okay, very good. So stop on by today at Smyrna between 11 and 1. Danny, I appreciate it. I know you've got some interviews coming up here with some baseball, some basketball. It's a fun time of the year. If we're still talking hoops, these teams have had a good year.
Absolutely right. Thanks, Brian.
All right, Danny's joining us here this morning for a brief moment. I'll tell you the schedule coming up here in a second. There is some other news that we would like to pass along, and our condolences go to the family of Nelson Smotherman. Nelson, of course, a sports figure that has been so involved in his 89 years with Rutherford County sports. You would see him at Oakland games. He was TSSAA historian for so many years. He was actually inducted into the Hall of Fame back in 1997. Nelson passed away yesterday after having a heart attack and a stent put in last week, and the funeral arrangements are incomplete. They'll be announced by Woodfin Funeral Chapel soon, but do want to say lifelong Murfreesboro resident Nelson Smotherman will certainly be missed. I had a chance to catch up with Charlotte P., the softball coach over at Oakland. The field's named after him, and she said he was the definition of a true patriot, loved the Oakland community, and boldly supported athletics, and he will be missed. Matthew Gillespie of the TSSAA said, Nelson basically, in my eyes, was a walking encyclopedia. He worked thousands of TSSAA events over 60 years. And Chip Walters worked with him as well, the voice of the Blue Raiders. He kept stats many years ago and said Nelson was as loyal as they come and loved working with statistics and was always willing to share historical information about MTSU sports and local high school sports. And so Nelson Smotherman, rest in peace. scores and updates on the schedule are coming up as we talk this morning with the coaches. Let me give you today's schedule. It's big. MTCS will take on Webb at 11 o'clock in the Division II Girls State Championship game. Fifth meeting of the season, and it's a rematch of last year's championship game between MTCS and Webb. This evening, girls sectional action, 3 teams in action. Blackman will host Cleveland. We'll have that one on the radio for you. Stewart's Creek at Bradley Central and Central Magnet at Jackson Southside. And then Monday, it's boys sectional. If any of the girls teams win out of those 3 that I mentioned, they'll play in Girls State next week in Division I Girls State. Boys on Monday, Oakland versus Cleveland, or Blackman versus Cleveland, rather. It's Laverne at McMinn Central and Central at Chester County. If you win on Monday in boys, you play the following week. So that is a look at what's coming up here on the show. Your schedule looks like this. We're going to have Rockville softball here in just a couple of minutes. John's going to take you through the first 45 minutes or so. Then Blackman boys basketball and Blackman girls basketball. It'll be followed by Laverne boys basketball, Siegel baseball, Stewart's Creek girls basketball, Rockville baseball at 9:30. Then at 10 o'clock, we'll have Eagleville baseball this morning, and then it's followed by MTCS Cougar Corner. We're talking softball here today. So a very busy show for us, our next to last show, so let's kick it off here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner.
The Coaches Show is fueled by McDonald's Murfreesboro, operated by McGuire Management Group. Look for our Shamrock logo, proudly worn by our team. We're supporters of high school and MTSU athletics. McGuire Management Group operates all Murfreesboro locations and in Smyrna on Nissan Drive. Be sure to download the McDonald's app for mobile order and pay, exclusive deals, coupons, and more. Also, follow us on social media at mcdonalds.mcguire. Want to join our team? Go to mcjob.net. McDonald's Murfreesboro, McGuire Management.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom design jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northville Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
And this portion of the Coach's Show brought to you by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic surgery group in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at TOA.com. John Dinkins here. They've allowed me into the studios, Dalton, the two big guys. And I've got Perry Lyons here, who is a familiar name to anybody that's ever picked up a softball or a softball bat, the head coach of the Lady Rockets of Rockville. And Perry, first things first, you've gone through some trauma of your own, and we're so thankful that you're here and healthy, and it's just wonderful news, and glad you're back.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You had a little bit of a you were at Siegel at one time, and you've been around, but everybody in Murfreesboro knows that last name, and I know you're really proud of that, and you got a lot of good kinfolk.
Yes, sir. Born and raised in Murfreesboro, and great community. Rutherford County in general, just the county in general. It's great to be a part of it, and I'm just glad to be here. 4 years ago, I had a little scare, and like you said, if I could help every kid in every school in the county, I would. But right now I'm at Rockville. Yes, sir.
It does, when you go through things like that, though. It gives you a greater appreciation for everything, doesn't it? I had a heart issue, and it just wakes you up and go, wow, I'm blessed, and I want to do whatever I can do.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. You don't take anything for granted. just even being able to be a head coach and lead a program again, you just don't take it for granted. And so with that situation, God truly had His hand in the healing process, and hopefully we can have some continued success.
You also had very successful run at Siegel. That's where you and I first hooked up.
Yes, sir.
And has that part of your life changed a little bit about the way you coach, the way sometimes it makes a difference. Has it with you?
To be honest, still got that fire.
Yeah.
Still got that fire in my belly. It did change on perspective as far as it's not always about winning and losing.
Mm-hmm.
It's about life. As you think about, and I want to prayers out to the Smyrna community for the young lady that is going through the things that she's going through. We actually had a kid on our team have a car accident on Tuesday. Keely Widener, and she ran into a tree, John.
Wow.
And she's at home now in the healing process. She's going to be out for 5 weeks. So when you think about it and you think about these kids, it puts it in perspective. It's bigger than that yellow ball. It's about helping and changing lives.
It certainly is. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Rockets. I'm hearing good things, and you've taken over the program, but I'm hearing some pretty good things. And of course, I know you're apprehensive, I guess, about the start of the season. Don't get your hopes up too big. But I've heard some good reports on the Rockville Rockets.
All I can tell you is, we're going to work hard and see what happens. It's early. I'm still getting to know the kids. The kids are still getting to know me. I came in September, late August. So we're still in the process of just getting to know each other and what my expectations are. What they had a great run last year. Coach Catalano did a great job leaving the program in good shape. We want to give a shout out to her. So we just want to pick up where they were and try to see what we can do.
All right. Well, it starts period starts with pitching. So we'll go there, and we're just going to kind of go around the horn, no pun intended, but we're going to go around the horn and tell you people that are maybe competing and some of the people things that people would be valuable coming off the bench, those kind of things. Let's start with pitching.
Pitching, we'll pitch by committee. We have one senior, of course, Mallory Williams. She was a junior last year. Got a couple of underclassmen that come in and get some innings. Keely, like I said, had a car accident, so she's going to be out for 5 weeks. She's a junior left-handed pitcher, spins the ball pretty good. We're expecting to get her back probably April by district tournament time. Got a freshman, Shallon Burt. Got Leah. We got a sophomore, Leah. Leah will get some innings, and then we have another freshman also named Caroline. All 5 of these girls will get innings. They'll all get mound time.
And I guess a lot of it in March, and some of that is weekend tournaments is where they get their experience and how you're going to do the rotation, that kind of thing.
Right. We want to keep everybody as fresh as we can for the end. So we'll divvy out the innings. The tournaments are good, but it's not you have to win the tournament. The most important tournament is going to be like the district tournament and the regions and all that. So we'll get all these girls some work. Let them get acclimated, especially the younger ones. See what the climate is when you're pitching in a varsity game.
I was talking to Valena, and one more thing on pitching. I was talking to Valena. I see her quite a bit, and I said, Valena, as pitching changed, because when you were at Oakland, you pitched 7 innings, boom. But the game's changed a little bit, hasn't it? Because I think the hitters have gotten better, haven't they? It's
changed a little bit, and it also comes with the mindset. Mm-hmm. When you speak of Valena, she was a tough-minded, a tough-minded kid.
Yeah.
And society's changed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas back in the day, you have a kid pitch 2 or 3 games in a row and didn't think anything of it. Now, it's just a little bit different, and hitting's different.
Yeah.
You got those bats, really, really hot bats. It's just different nowadays.
Let's talk about the infield. We'll go around the horn. First base, I guess.
Well, I'm totally honest with you. We all positions are open.
Okay, well, let's go that way then.
All our positions are open. We don't have anybody set in stone, and our girls understand that.
Yeah.
That won't be set to March 14th. So they got to work hard and they got to earn it. And that's what they know, and that's what we talk about, being a hard hat, being a blue collar worker. We want to be dirty and work hard and get grimy. So
does that, and at the same time, do you look for people that are multi-position type people that you can play the outfield, come in and play third,
yes, sir.
That kind of thing?
We at Rockwell we want players, not positions, and the girls know that. And I said it the first day, we want a player, not a shortstop. We want a player, not a second baseman. We want you to be able to play second, third, short, right, center, and that's how we train. So we train all our infielders like shortstops. We train all our outfielders like center fielders. So if you can play those positions, you can play any position on the field, and that's what we try to do.
So the process right now, then, I guess, is who can do this and who can't, and move them accordingly and make that decision on the 14th.
Yes, sir. So what we'll do is train everybody as a shortstop, and then if it's a kid that's got a little bit weaker arm, then we might move them to second. Mm-hmm. If it's a kid that's really, really athletic and quick, we might put her at third. So we train them like that and look at them like that, more so than saying this kid is in this position right now. Like I said, we're still fighting for positions.
Perry Lyons is our guest here. A couple more questions as we here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner. And as you say that, I know you like to have two catchers, correct?
Yes, sir.
At least two.
Yes, sir.
And maybe somebody that can fill in if need be.
Yes,
because
sir.
you never know, do you?
You never know. Catching, it's a high demand. Your knees and things like that, and also it's a tough position. So we actually got 3 or 4 kids working there. Emma McBride is the catcher that we had last year. She's there. We got Lily Potts, a JV catcher that works there. We got a freshman, Ava Flutie, that just came on in February. And then I got Macy Harris, a kid that emergency. She can go behind the plate. Mm-hmm. So we're just training all of them. And like I said, when we go in our practices, all 4 of them will get reps at there because I don't know who's going to do it.
I noticed you're throwing a lot of freshman people out there, a lot of freshman names. So are you guys? I know you've got a little mixture, don't you?
We have 5 seniors.
Mm-hmm.
Brooke Duez and Jesse Condren, Macy Harris, Madison Rudolph, and Mallory Williams.
Yeah.
After that, it's all underclassmen, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Because there's
some really good blend, isn't it?
It's a good blend.
And those 5 have been through the wars, and they were in the wars last year, so they know what to expect. They actually do help the other kids, though, don't they?
They're really good, great leaders, and that's the reason I named. Basically, I want to talk about the seniors. They're like mothers.
Yeah.
And they say, hey, let's do it like this, and so they've taken my personality and they're leading these young girls. Yep.
Yeah, they had to kind of figure you out, I guess, first, and you're kind of it's still in that process a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah,
you'll know when the games start, won't you?
I had one senior say, "I just can't figure it out." I said, "You don't try to figure me out."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "You just play ball."
Yeah,
and that's how mentality is all it's about business, right?
Right.
So they did say that. It's like I just can't figure you out. I said, "Don't figure me out. Figure out how to hit that screwball or that curveball."
Yeah, keep them guessing.
Keep
Coach.
them guessing.
Well, good luck this year. I know we're excited about it. We're going to be out there a few games this year as well. And you talked about the injury and 5 weeks, and then she'll be ready for district. I just realized this is the quickest season of all of them. But I mean, you go it's a month and boom, we're starting district play.
It's very quick. Once you get to the basketball district tournament, softball is here.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, we're about to start the 4th quarter of the grading period. So I mean,
know, it is weird.
It's fast.
Yeah.
It goes fast.
It's a great time of year, though, I tell you, especially when it gets warm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Perry, appreciate talking to you this morning. All right.
I
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. That's Perry Lyons, the head coach of the Rockville Rockets. When we come back, I'm talking to, I think it's Jennifer Grandstaff of the Blackman girls, or have I got that reversed? Hold on. Let me look. Now, I will tell you this. This portion of the show is brought to you by Bowen's Body Shop. From dings and dents to full body work, trust Jeff and Cal Bowen to do the job right. They're located on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. No, I think it is Barry Wertman coming up next here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service. From personal tax preparation to business bookkeeping, payroll, and taxes, at Craig's Tax Service, our staff is here to help.
Get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
As a former Siegel Star football player, I know the importance of the high school sports experience. Good luck to all county student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
Dr. Automotive is the cure for your car. Brothers Danny and Randy Brewer have been providing Rutherford County with ASE certified auto repair for nearly 20 years. You'll receive courteous and friendly customer service every time. Why? Because we grew up here and you are our neighbors. Foreign and domestic auto repair and maintenance on Hazelwood Drive in Smyrna, just off I-24. SmyrnaAutorepair.com, 615-220-0971. Just ask for Danny.
This Fanceroni pepperoni is fancy.
Am I fancy enough for the Fanceroni? I'm wearing cargo shorts.
But Tim, so am I.
Try the Fanceroni pepperoni with over 100 Old World pepperoni. Little Caesars changed the Hot and Ready Classic and added 33% more pepperoni, which makes it 133% better pizza than before. It's really good. Order a new classic online and use our convenient Pizza Portal pickup.
In Murfreesboro on Memorial, Warrior Drive, South Church, and Old Fort.
You've seen the ads out there, companies wanting to buy your home. But why sell yourself short when you can get fair market value? I'm Lisa Patton. If you have an estate to settle or a home to sell, call Parks Auction. We'll work with you to sell your home or property in any condition with no costly repairs on your timeline. Why accept one offer when you can have multiple? You need Parks Auction. We look out for your best interest. Call Parks Auction today. We handle everything.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
This portion of the show brought to you by Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, family owned and operated since 1977. Get the best service with Prentice Allsup Heating and Air online at PrenticeAllsup.com. John Dinkins here with you, interview number 2, and it is Barry Wortman, the head coach of the Blackman Blaze. And Barry, we used to catch you a little later than this, but glad to hear from you this morning.
Absolutely, John. Nice. Thanks for having me.
Okay, Barry, I've got about 10 minutes to go through the Blackman history here of the last 3 weeks. Okay, and it has been quite a ride. District 7. The play-in game started with Riverdale with a 58-53 win. Now, I'm not sure that we've had anybody make a run that you've made. Your guys have made with wins there, a win over in the semis, then the District 7 championship, then we go to the regions, and 2-3 wins here, and now you're in the sectional game. You've had some close calls in these things too. Is your blood pressure okay? Do I need to call a doctor? Are you all right?
I'm good, but you're right, boy. Those are all been 1 or 2 possession games, and you have to make your kids have to make really good plays in those games. And I thought we've got 13 kids playing as one, and when you have that, and you're playing with a high level of toughness, which our team does, it gives you a chance to play well in those situations, and we sure have.
People have asked me, said, how have they done this? And my explanation, in which I have no business even as answering the question, but, I think the district record was a little misleading. And I said, I think what happened, they had an injury. They had to make some adjustments. And during that period of time, the district started. And I think there was some struggles there early. But then it seemed like something clicked. You tell me your version of it.
Well, you make some good points, John. I think the biggest thing is we had a nice team. We made some progress. Mm-hmm. Our team has grown and developed. And if you look at our season, we're a pretty good basketball team. We beat a Hillsboro team that's most people think can win a state title. We beat a Green Hills team that's playing for a chance to go to the state tournament, and some really quality teams in between. So we played good basketball. We just had a lot of trouble scoring the basketball, and we had a little trouble taking care of it. We played the game with Laverne with 4 turnovers, and you talk about an athletic team with a lot of length, and the changed defenses. That would have bothered us earlier in the year. So I just think, had a 7-point lead at Oakland in the last week of the season in our district, regular season of district, and turn it over 4 times in 5 possessions, and go from up 7 to down 1 in like 2 minutes of play. And we've been able to correct that, and then get timely play, and all the guys are playing with a high level of basketball IQ and playing in the role and making free throws at a higher rate. And, those things I think have made the difference because we've been right there in all of our games, except I think on 1 week there at stretch and on a Tuesday, Friday, and earlier in the district we didn't play good basketball, but we've been right there. So it's not like we've just done something miraculous. Our team's been good all year, and our kids have played at a high level all year. We just a little more efficient offensively. Guys have been able to find roles a little bit better, in my opinion, and I think that we've had some guys make big plays, shining moment plays in these games, and you have to because they've been to tournament basketball. They've been 1 or 2 possession games for sure. So all those things I think came into play, and to make us to be in the left-hand column, if you will, to be in the winning side of a lot of close games.
You've really had a lot of people that have been responsible for this too. The 20 wins and where you are at this point in time. I could go down the list of kids that I've seen come in and make contributions. You've even had freshmen come in and get a big rebound, freshman post, and quite honestly, I can't even tell you his name, but I noticed that one night he came in and got a huge rebound or a steal or something, and then Flowers has come off the bench, and I think Elam's had nights where he's been great. Edie's had great nights. Divins has been pretty consistent throughout it all. And then you've got Christian Johnson, who I think is the most improved player since the first of the season to now.
He really has. There's been so many guys that have had impacts. I think. And
I left somebody out too, Barry. I'm sure I did.
Yeah, Trey Southpaw. I tell you, he really played great basketball. He's been a good player for us all year long, but as he's felt this, as he's got more comfortable and found a nice role for our team, and he's playing with a ton of confidence, made big plays for us in the tournament play. And you're right, Christian Johnson, his confidence levels is through the roof, and he's playing with a lot of confidence, and he has. I think he without his play, without all of our guys' play, you don't win basketball games. But his play's been really good, and you're right. Like we call it shining moment plays. Keller Jackson, a freshman for us, came off the bench, and we call it Xing or Ewan in a free throw, and got a big offensive rebound for us, and got us an extra possession as a freshman, and obviously Braden Flowers has been huge, and our backcourt's been phenomenal, and down the stretch and taking care of the ball and playing well, and Isaiah Divins is just I don't think he's turned the ball over. In tournament basketball, it's been unreal, his ability to know when to be on the attack, know when to bounce it out and run offense, total composure. We with the 24 seconds the other night, down 1, we had about 3 things we wanted to do. And first of all, with like a sideline out of bounds, we were going to try to get something out of that. And then a quick hitter, and then what we wanted to do if none of those things took place. And he was able to articulate that in our timeout and had a good, almost like a coach in the timeout. So we were able to, and it really worked out. We didn't get the sideline little play that we wanted. We didn't get the quick hitter, and he was able to totally understand. We wanted to get a flat ball screen late in the clock and drive it, and he was able to do that. And made the big kid for Laverne help over, and Christian was able to get a stick it back in. So all those things worked. His leadership and play, and everybody. He's been really good. All the guys have been phenomenal, and I tell you what, they've been great at is really getting scouts, defensive scouts, into the game from practice and film room into the game. And I think that's a big. That's hard to do at this age, and I'm proud of them for being so locked in.
It really is, and I'm looking at these scores. You've given up 22, 21, 33, 34. I'm sorry, excuse me, wrong card I'm looking at here. Sorry. Okay, but 53, 54, 36. 56, 33, 43. It seems like the defense is getting better as you go.
Well, we just, we've always been really good around here of not giving up transition baskets. And if you don't give up transition baskets, people have to play against your set defense. And I don't care if you're the fastest playing team in the country, you it takes longer to score against set defenses, and then I think we're pretty good. So either you're going to take a bad shot, or you're going to it's going to take longer to get an opportunity to score. So we've been able to control tempo with great defensive transition, and then we had a little trouble early in the year. We pride ourselves around here on winning special situations or sideline and baseline and jump balls. Christian Johnson's won about 80% of our offensive tips, which a lot of times will give you an extra possession, things like that. But we've been really good on inline out of bounds around here, and we just struggled this year, either scoring out of a special situation or getting stops. We're 8-1 in our last 9 games. So that to me is amazing. That's film room and our Coach Bell and Coach Phillips in particular and Coach Burke are working extremely hard and finding little ways to maybe score and keep people from scoring in line out of bounds. And I think our kids have been phenomenal. They're 8-1 in your last 9. I think that speaks for itself. Those little things that help you win games, and especially win big games when all the games seem to be 1 or 2 or 3 possession games.
Barry Wortman, our guest here on the Prentice Allsup Heating Air Coach's Corner. A couple of more questions, Barry. The game against Laverne may have been one of the greatest and atmospheres and greatest game, and I thought there was a lid on the basket for you guys. You had 4 or 5 really great looks, and I think did what you wanted to do, and the ball came in and out or it flipped off the rim. I know that had to be a little bit of a scary moment for some of you guys, or say we were snake bit, but it turned out okay as Johnson hit that last layup.
I'm telling you, the basketball gods were with us. You're exactly right. That was a well-played game.
Yes, it was.
A lot of my bad. I tell you, we played it with 4 turnovers. They played it with 10. Guys making big-time plays. Just can't say enough about the team we played. They made you really guard and executed extremely well. But our big thing, especially since we made a little adjustment offensively, is we've always wanted what we call collisions at the rim and opportunities to get fouled, and we've gotten so much better at that. And I thought Isaiah Divins down the stretch just drove that ball and got some opportunities to drive it off some ghost screens and different things that we tried to do, and he was right there, and I did. I think he had some nice collisions, and we didn't get the call.
Right.
And I thought, but those are hard to stick back, especially with shot blockers. And I thought I thought Garrison Edie had a great drive off
yes.
a little,
yeah.
And it was the first time we were able to get the big white kid off the floor. He's a good player. We got him off the floor and got him in the air, and then Garrison did a great job of getting into him. You always get that call, and we didn't. You always seem to get to the foul line on that call, and we got some really nice collisions to rim. We just couldn't get them in. And then a little throwback to Christian. I've never seen a 3-point shot bounce 4 or 5 times and not going in. And then Trey Stout had a great drive and a little Princeton layup that
yeah.
for some reason didn't go in. So it was like 5 or 6 things with 2 or 3 collisions at the rim. And like I say, a great shot blocker and White at the goal and to bother us, but it didn't. But it all last drive, a great job by our team coming out of that timeout to be able to sort of execute 3 ideas or 3 thoughts, if you will. That's a little tricky to do, and had a great poise and got what we wanted at the rim. And then for Christian to be able to have the make the shiny moment play to stick it in, I thought was good. And even then with 2.5, we had to execute a defensive situation we wanted to do, and I thought Ethan Carson did a great job in that regards. A lot of things to make that happen down the stretch. That was a lot of fun.
And Laverne did a great job of getting that ball down the floor. I still don't know how he got that pass down the floor.
Tony
it was great.
That's a well coached team and well played game. So it was a lot of fun, and appreciate the great support for those kids and great environment.
Well, Barry, I'm not going to ask you if you know anything about Cleveland. It doesn't matter. We're there. So I'm going to let you handle that part of it. But pal, you're getting old. These games, these 44, 43 games are going to put some gray hairs on you. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll be honest. When you get to that it's a lot of fun. Our program embraces those kind of games, and our kids have a lot of fun. That's what it's all about. So we're not where we want to be. We're not quite there yet, but we've been working extremely hard in regards to getting ready for a really, really good Cleveland team with senior-laden team with a Division I wing and really great size and a tough team. And it should be. Everybody's really good, and no exception there. We'll have to play extremely well against not only a talented team, but another big-time player on the wing like we had against Laverne, and just rebound it well, take care of it well, extremely well coached, tough, expect to win. So it'll be a really good challenge, but one that our kids will be excited about playing, and we'll fire a heck of a shot for 32 minutes on Monday night at 7:00 and see what we can do.
All right, well, we'll be there, Barry, so keep the light on for us, all right?
All right. I appreciate you. Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me, John.
That's Barry Wortman, the head coach of the Blackman Blaze, and when we come back, we are going to talk about the ladies of the Blackman Blaze, and that's Coach Jennifer Grandstaff as we continue here on the show. It's brought to you by Donut Country, 2 locations on Memorial and Middle Tennessee Boulevard, and by McDonald's of Murfreesboro, operated by the McGuire Management Group.
If you need concrete work done, who would I call? Dan Franz Concrete. Here's why. He's local. He attended Walter Hill Elementary, Oakland, and MTSU. He served our community as a school resource officer for 9 years, and he's involved in the community.
This is Dan with Dan Franz Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Dan Franz Concrete is a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. Check out danfranzconcrete.com online to see some of their work.
Here's a question. What do you want from your electric co-op?
Fast response if the power goes out.
An app that keeps me informed. Tips to lower my monthly bill.
Communication on things that matter to me.
Done, 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 done.
I want to know everything.
Everything? Well, young lady, let me show you the MyMTE app. Energy Service Life. That's Middle Tennessee Electric. We're here to get done what matters most to you. Learn more at mte.com.
We're talking now with Heather here at Carpets by Osborne. Tell us what it's like to work at a family business.
It's a lot of fun. However, it's a lot of work. Everybody has to pull their weight equally.
What do you think are some of the advantages of people doing business with a family business versus a corporate business?
We are here to answer all questions. We're responsible for scheduling jobs. We're not here to sell you material and pass you off to a list of installers.
Carpets by Osborne on Northwest Broad, next to Tire World.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
This portion of the show brought to you by Ideas Tees, who will be happy to help you fulfill all of your imprinted apparel, embroidery, and advertising specialty needs. Find out more at ideastees.com. And Coach Jennifer Grandstaff here with us. We just got through talking to the Blackman boys, and Barry had some tight games. You two as well have had a couple little ones to squeeze by. I think I'm gonna kind of give you the entire district schedule. Okay,
everything's running together.
Yeah, I know it is. I know it is. I had to write it down. Okay, a win over Siegel in the District 7 semifinal, 72-22. District 7 championship game, a 68-61 win over Oakland, which was probably the scariest game of all that they had, because you had a lot of foul trouble.
Yeah, had a lot of adversity that we had to overcome in that game, and super proud of our kids. They just our bench was just awesome on that night, locked in, and just made some really, really big plays and just played with a lot of heart and a lot of emotion. So we did. We overcame a huge deficit to pull off a win. And like you said, we had 3-4 starters out, 4 fouls. So it was big. It was a big win for us.
I've never seen 3 starters just go down, you know, and that quickly. Like, I think Kaylin had boom, 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 and
then got a.
But those girls off the bench never, ever really panicked. I mean, they walked in and said, "We'll take it. Don't worry, we got this."
They really did. They just showed great poise, and we, talked at halftime. I just didn't think we were playing really good basketball, and then obviously we had to step up the pressure. We had to make up 14 points, and our bench did. That's what I told them. I said, "Boy, I think we've got the best bench in the state of Tennessee," because they came in and really did their job and just hit big baskets and. Just cause havoc on Oakland in the backcourt. So like I said, just super proud of them. We don't win that game if we don't have a great bench, and obviously that was huge for us.
I thought Moore really stood out in that game a lot. She did a lot of great things.
Shane has really gotten a lot better throughout the course of the year, just playing with a lot more confidence.
Right. And she actually took the ball to the hoop.
Yeah.
She likes to distribute the ball. But she did what she needed to do.
Yep.
All right, well, we got through that one, okay? So we're going to the quarterfinals of the region in a 66-21 win. And then the semifinals, a 66-33 win over Rockville, which I thought I thought you did a good job of containing them and making some adjustments on them that kind of helped take that game over in the game.
Yeah. I thought our kids were really focused, came out and played really well in that ball game. It was an elimination game. You got to bring a different mindset when you play those elimination games, and I thought our kids responded well and reacted well to it. We did. I thought we made it more of a tempo game for us. Didn't sit back in a half court and try not to let them run as their offense as much as they wanted to do. We knew they were going to try to get a lot of mismatches on us in the post with their players because they're big and physical, and our kids recognized it well, played great backside help, and just tried to take away the things that they like to do, and we did a good job of it. Like I said, our kids are starting to lock in, pay a lot more attention to detail and to the scouting report, and kind of starting to understand that this is, when they need a bucket, this is what they're looking for. And I thought our kids responded well and took away those things.
I'm trying to remember that game a little bit more. I think maybe Dunbar had a really good game that night, I think, inside. And I'm trying to
say, they all run together.
I may have missed the game that she did that. But
Dunbar stepped up big time for us. Yeah.
And they really all have. I mean, I guess, when Flowers went down the first time with injury, Lyric changed her what she was going to do.
Right.
It changed. She was going to have to be more of a distributor. Lovely Alexander had to come in and become – it just kind of set the thing in motion for about 5 or 6 games. Do you think, though, it may have helped you in the long run? Because,
definitely.
Yeah.
It made our bench so much more – we just got so much better in our bench because our kids had to play so many more minutes, and it was a great experience for them. And so I think it made us – our individual players a lot better. It made our depth a lot better, and now we're fortunate enough to add Flowers back into the lineup. And so I just think that overall we're a lot better basketball team through the course of the injury, unfortunately, but we just got better because of it. And so we're just plugging along. And
Kaylin's coming off the bench and really putting a spark.
She adds a spark to us, definitely. She's just been solid for us ever since she's been back, and breath of fresh air, and has just been ready to roll.
It's almost like you win another speed.
Mm-hmm.
You went from
she 55
to 65.
Yeah.
We go to the championship game, the region championship, a 48-34 win over Stewart's Creek, which I thought was a really rugged ball game. I thought that was really. I thought Stewart's Creek played well. I think, but your defense though was on target, and I think they struggled a little bit. Particularly, they like to shoot a little outside, and I think you held them.
Again, I thought our kids were locked in. They understood the scout. They understood personnel and in Stewart's Creek's program, the roster. They knew who they were guarding. Our kids said it was a very hard-fought ball game. I think it was real physical, and we were, again, playing for a big purpose in that game. Win or lose, we still get to advance to the next round, but we knew how important it is to have home field or home court advantage.
You know what it's like to not have home court, don't you? Yeah,
that's a tough Saturday if you've got to travel. So they just responded well and played well, and I thought we did some good things offensively. We did a lot of really good things in the first half. Got a little complacent in the second, but able to play well enough down the stretch to hold on and do what we needed to do to be successful.
We're talking to Jennifer Grandstaff, head coach of the Lady Blaze, and okay, I'm gonna throw one out to Emily Monson.
Sure.
I love this kid.
Oh yeah.
I thought, okay, against Stewart's Creek, she's not having a really great shooting night. I think she wound up with 14, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah.
Just steady, and she finds different ways. I think a lot of people go, okay, she's only a 3-point scorer, but she tries a lot of different things to score.
Emily's really gotten a lot better throughout the course of the game and a lot of different facets of the game.
she kind of realizing what's there for, what's available during the game.
Yeah, as much. She's kind of letting the game come to her. She's gotten better at penetrating, attacking the basket a little bit. That's what I told him. I said, it's the longer we get to play, the better the competition, the better the defense, the better the scout. And you just got to be patient and just, wait for the ball to come to you, work for ways to get the ball to you. Don't overdo it so much. And she's really bought into that and been patient. And so, like I said, the longer we play, the harder it is to get in good looks at the bucket because she's a big part of the opponent's scout.
Well, it's scary that she's a three-point, just one great shooter, but now she's got other weapons. It's just hard to
rebounding
imagine.
The ball so much better.
Yes, yeah. And I want to talk about Wilson for a second too, because she is kind of the unsung rebounder, steals. She never stops. She's like running 100 miles an hour. Great distributor of the basketball too. And I think all the girls on your team do that about as well as anybody. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
We praise our kids a lot and talk about it, just about being unselfish, being a great teammate, having great team chemistry, and they're really they're all in with that. They know how important that is. It's the little things outside of the X's and O's that really make a big difference that I've found throughout the course of my career with the team chemistry. It goes a long way, and I'll tell you, our kids got great team chemistry. They're unselfish. They got a lot of love for each other. Talking about Dan Angela, she's our little spark plug. She's the motor. She makes us go. She plays with a lot of emotion, a lot of heart, a lot of passion.
And it's constant.
It is. It's constant.
Yeah.
It's relentless. She doesn't let up. So she just had a great run here. She's had a very consistent season, but I tell you, she's picked it up a notch as well in this postseason for us.
Did I leave anybody out? I will say Maston during Flowers while she was out. She was playing her best basketball.
I mean, all of our kids have been big. I mean, they have. Lauren Smith. I thought this region tournament has gotten better. I thought she was a little. We just didn't notice her as much. She wasn't.
She very aggressive.
Yes, I think she's gotten a lot more aggressive in our region tournament defensively and just on the board. So, I mean, I think we're. Just a well-balanced group of individuals right now that are hungry, very hungry.
Can't fuss at them about anything, hardly, can you?
No, not at all.
You'll find something. There's got to be something there. Hey, Coach, good luck tonight. It's a big game, and I'm not going to ask you about Cleveland because, let's just take it one game at a time and not worry about it. But best of luck. We'll be there rooting you on.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks so much.
We can be homers tonight.
There you go. That's right. You can show the love for the Blaze.
That's Jennifer Grandstaff. Thank her for coming in this morning. This portion of the show brought to you by Sir Pizza, whose 3 Murfreesboro locations offer a huge selection of mouth-watering pizzas, sandwiches, pastas, and wings. Order your favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com.
The Blue Raider fan source for officially licensed Middle Tennessee gear is Raider Tees. T-shirts, caps, sweats in all sizes, designs, colors, children's to plus sizes. Raider Tees has decals and license plates to show everyone your favorite team. Plus, check out their wide selection of Blue Raider art, jewelry, even golf tee markers. Show your Blue Raider pride with the largest selection of Blue Raider merchandise anywhere by shopping Raider Tees, 910 Ridgely Road, just before the bridge over Broad behind Chewy's.
Pizza. Murfreesboro's favorite pizza is now hiring at all 3 local locations. That's right. We want you to join the Sir Pizza team. Stop in at our East Main, Veterans Parkway, or Memorial Boulevard locations and let us know how you'd like to join the Sir Pizza family. Also, we've made it even easier to order for carryout or delivery. Just head on over to sirpizzatn.com.
Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Ring Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by State Farm agents Andy Womack, Bud Morris, Dana Womack, Celeste Middleton, Emerson Williams, and Jeannie Allman. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Speaking of good neighbors, we're joined now by Laverne head basketball coach Tony Rutland. Coach, how are you this morning?
I'm always good. We're playing, so it's always a good day.
Oh, absolutely right. So before we talk about current, I want to rewind the clock a little bit.
Sure.
And I want to talk about Stewart's Creek semifinal game in the district tournament.
Okay.
As fine a display of basketball from beginning to end as Laverne has had this year?
Yes, I would say that's the first game we came out and actually was the hunter, and we came out and played on all cylinders, and we really, really shot the ball well, played great defense, and we took it personal that game, and we just came out and played really tough.
Absolutely right. From beginning to end, which is what a coach wants, you want to put 4 quarters together, and it was really all facets of the game. I mean, defense, rebound, and offense, everything.
It was. I was worried for a little bit, thinking that they were going to take it personal as they always do, but our guys stepped it up, and sometimes as coaches you try to find things to motivate the guys, and you always find stuff to put on the billboard, and we had things from all year to put on the billboard, and the guys really took it personal that game.
Because, I've seen Laverne play several times this year, and just the evolution of your team, that was kind of like the culmination of everything, right?
It was, man. I mean, from point guard to 5 to the guys on the bench, we really did execute, and they paid attention to details, and that was probably one of the best games we had. Probably is the best game we had from start to finish.
So the next one I want to talk about is Rockvale in the region semifinals. Tough game, hard-nosed game, back and forth. You go on a run, they go on a run, you go on a run. But in the end, it was Laverne basketball that really stepped up down the stretch and made the plays.
Yeah, we played them before at their place, and it was always a tough game. They had the lead in the first half as well, and I kept stressing to my guys, like, look, you can't win the game in the first minute or first possession. Just play your game and we'll get the lead. But it starts on the defensive end. And, we didn't panic, and we were able to get some stops, and we were able to finally finish and make some baskets. And we did the same thing in the last game. But, I think I told the guys, just be patient. Something's going to happen. And we capitalized. I think, they got a steal, took a dunk, and, got the tech. A lot of people were mad. But, at the end of the day, the rule was what it was, and we was able to make a 4-point swing on that.
Absolutely right, and that was big, and that lends to my next point: mental toughness. You were mentally tough in that basketball game, and that's what kind of guided you in the end.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't shoot the ball as well as we normally do, but I think defensively was key. The game was tied going into the fourth quarter, and I think we held them to 5 points in the fourth quarter, and that's what I really proud of my guys. They played excellent defense in the fourth quarter, and we was able to score. It was a tough crowd. I mean, it was a great atmosphere in the semifinals and the finals, and my guys really played well. And as to why I like playing on the road a lot early, because you fight through adversity, and it's just us.
As you have gone on this run, regular season wound up strong. Won the district tournament,
yep.
Went to the finals of the region tournament. Defense is what you've hung your hat on.
Yeah, I mean, I really, since we played Siegel the second time in the regular season, I was just looking at film, and I put all my notes back to basic, and that's when we sat down and we really concentrated on our defense. We give up some stuff here and there, but we pride ourselves on that now, and we try to do things to win, and our defense is really getting us easy baskets on our offensive end.
The Rockvale game set you up for today. I know the region final didn't go the way you wanted to, but that was why I mentioned the mental toughness, because that was a game you had to win.
Yeah, and I think we came out early, and we they came out real aggressive because I think they had everything. They didn't have anything to lose. So, I was trying to tell them, like, look, just be patient. Things are going to start to fall. But, the guys really, really stuck together, and they came together, and we was able to pull it through.
So let's talk about the region final. I know the final score didn't go the way you want, and you've been, for those that don't know, Tony Rutland, point guard, he made Tim Duncan. I've said this before on this show. You've been in lots and lots of big environments, but was that not as fun, as one you've been in a long time?
I would say that's, I said it to somebody. I was like, that game right there was like playing at Cameron Indoor compared to playing at Chapel Hill. Both, the guys have nothing to hold their heads down. It's bigger than basketball when it comes to that game. To see so much support from Levan fans to come out that haven't, been out to any basketball games in a long time. I told them all the time, it's bigger than basketball. They have nothing to hold their heads down, and very proud of how they played.
A great learning experience for you. You had some opportunities late, couldn't quite seal the deal. Good learning experience for you, feel like? Oh yeah, it definitely is. We knew coming in it was going to be a close game. It shouldn't have really been to overtime. I think we had the lead, missed opportunity at the free throw line, which has hurt us all year. But I think if we take care of the ball, not turn the ball over, we don't give them opportunities to score. I think the guys learn. Sometimes the referees did a great job of swallowing their whistle towards the end. The facts is that it's playoff time, and normally, like in the NBA and college, they start swallowing the whistle and let things happen, and that's how it was. Blackman played physical all year. They played really physical in that game, and the touch fouls that normally happened, it wasn't called. And, like I told the guys, you have to play through that, stop looking for the fouls, and you have to make sure that you finish the basket. Because the bottom line is you want to let the players decide the game, not the officials. And it was. The referees, again, towards the end, that's what you want. Referees don't blow the whistle when it's under 30 seconds. And I think, our guys did a really good job of not really fouling. They gone straight up with their hands, contested shots, and we just didn't get that last rebound. So we had plenty of opportunities to get the rebound, and they got plenty of opportunities to put the ball in, and they finally did it in the last shot. So you've worked hard all year. Mm-hmm. Now you've got an opportunity to go to the big dance there at the Glass House Monday night, McMinn County. Your thoughts? Very fast team. Again, when you're always playing on the road, the home team is going to shoot a little bit better than they would on the road. And so we got to come in, and I think just setting us up from the beginning of the year, playing on the road for our first 6-7 games has really helped us come together. And I think this long trip will help us get together. We're going to get up there, get our legs going, and, it's just going to be us. So I'm really excited. I think the guys are excited. They came in yesterday and really, really had a good head on their shoulders about this next game. I think that, Coach, just from my observation, you got the pieces to the puzzle. You got some guard play. You can shoot the basketball. You got some big guys. Laverne just needs to be Laverne? Yes. We could play fast. We could play slow. That's why I like this team. We can adjust to any style of play that we come against, or whatever style that we need to do to win. And not too many teams can say that, and so I'm really pleased. Brennan and has been really a good leader, and the quiet leader and the glue for our team has been Javon Drake, and he did a great job defensively of holding Isaiah down towards the end. We knew he wanted to get to the basket, but having a big guy just as quick as he has affected a lot of his shots. And again, it's just the little things that happen that we know we can adjust on, and we live another day. The one thing I can say about Javon Drake that's always consistent with him is effort. The kid is always going to give you 120%. Man, I don't know what it is about him, but he's like one of them old school guys where they could play a whole game today and turn around and go to the gym, and they say, hey, we got another game. He's there, and he's still running 100 miles per hour full court, and that's what I love about him. One of the things that I've noticed, patience offensively, Is that been the infusion of Tony Rutherford? The kids buy into getting a good shot?
Yes, because if you don't, teams like Blackman will capitalize on that. And I think we did a really good job of getting the shots we wanted. Even when we were down, we were able to get the shots we wanted. Some didn't fall, but we counted on our defense to get stops, and then we were able to capitalize and start hitting, and that's how we got in the game and started getting the lead a little bit.
Coach Tony Rutland, he's done a fantastic job down at Laverne Wolverines sectional. I call it sub-state because I'm old school, but in a sectional game. Fantastic news down there at Laverne. Coach, you're doing lots of the right things. We wish you the best of luck. Monday night, they go to McMinn County, and hopefully they're going to bring back a chance to go play for the gold ball. Coach, wish you the best of luck. Appreciate your time, as always. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Steve Martin Construction. When it comes to building your home, don't settle for anything less than the best. Check out their custom homes online at stevemartinconstruction.com.
Franklin's Printworks has been in Murfreesboro for over 25 years. We are a full-service commercial printer, everything from business cards, brochures, booklets to banners. My name is Jeff Carlton. I handle sales and marketing for Franklin's Printworks. We hear a lot people who have been working with printers on the internet, had issues, and they know that if we're working with someone local, that A, they know where to find us, and B, they know that we'll take care of it because we have to take care of our neighbors. Our website is franklinsprinting.org.
Winners Trophies can help you with customized awards for any occasion. Owner Kelly Hockenberry continues to provide awards for sports teams, churches, recognition awards, and more. Call Winners Trophies at 904-6002. That's 904-6002 for the best in quality, service, and pricing. You can also email Kelly, winnerstrophy@comcast.net. That's winnerstrophy@comcast.net. Any award for any occasion. Winners Trophies, 904-6002.
We're at Rick's Barbecue on Warrior Drive, talking with Anne Marie Brents.
When people walk in and they're like, tell me what's good, I usually tell them the loaded baked potato, which is a fully loaded potato with the butter, sour cream, cheese, bacon, and chives, and then we put meat on top of it.
At Rick's, they use the largest potatoes you can find.
Every Tuesday, we run a special on the loaded potatoes. We call it Tater Tuesday, and we sell a lot of potatoes.
Barbecue, smoked chicken, ribs, they've got it all at Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive, and online at ricksbbq.com.
This is Steve Martin of Steve Martin Construction and online at stevemartinconstruction.com. We specialize in custom-built homes and work directly with you to assure that it's the home of your dreams. If you have the perfect lot, we can build the perfect home. Let us take your ideas and create the home you've always dreamed about. You can see some of our work online at stevemartinconstruction.com. Steve Martin Construction, online at stevemartinconstruction.com.
Renters. When you combine State Farm, auto, and renters insurance, you will save money. I'm State Farm Agent Celeste Middleton, and I'd love to talk to you about combining your auto and renters insurance to help you save. Call me 615-895-2700.
You've changed thousands of diapers, played hours of peekaboo and duck, duck, goose. You'd do anything to protect your kids. I'm State Farm Agent Dana Womack, and it's important to protect them with life insurance. I can make it easy and affordable for you to protect your family.
Hi, I'm Rick Thornton, Senior Vice President and Commercial Banker at First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. If you have commercial and business financial needs, let me put my extensive experience to work for you, and you'll see why First National Bank of Middle Tennessee is the place for hometown banking. We have branches at 1708 Gateway Boulevard and 3427 Memorial Boulevard, and always online at fmbmt.com.
First National Bank of Middle Tennessee, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC, NMLS 401715.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Dan France Concrete, a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. That's Dan France Concrete. It's time to talk some Siegel baseball this morning, and the head coach, Greg Revis, is joining us here today. That France family came through Siegel, his young'uns.
So. Sure did, yep. Yeah, not that long
Dan
ago.
was a SRO at school there for a while, too.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Know them well.
Before the concrete business, the reason I was starting to reel about that, I was thinking maybe you could be some kind of contractor. You've had a lot of construction, if you will, going on at your place.
Yes, we have. Still got a little bit to do cleaning up around the outside, but yep, got the turf down. Finished up a couple weeks ago and enjoying that, especially in this weather we've had the last few days.
I drive by just about every day, and I saw a pile of rock that stayed there seemingly forever, and then some equipment moved in and all that kind of thing. So when the project, and obviously you would probably start that in the wintertime, you've got to deal with weather, I'm sure.
Yes, and that's what it all comes down to, is the days they can get on it or not on it, or wet weather, if it's too cold or this or that. So Warner's Athletic did a great job, filtering through all that, and we missed a couple days of practice, but been on it and very happy with it. They did a great job.
What advantages? You're now what? Is that the third team or
Yes.
third field that turf field
Riverdale
in
and
baseball?
Oakland had already had it. The biggest advantage is just practice time.
Mm-hmm.
It can rain for 2 hours. If it stops, we can hop out there on it and take ground balls, do whatever we need to do. So to me, that was one of the reasons I felt like we really had to get it done, is we've got two teams in our district that sort of had a competitive advantage. If you look back to last year, the second week of practice, it rained pretty much all week. We didn't get on the field all week, whereas Oakland and Riverdale were both on the field doing something every day. So, that was sort of the game changer, just saying that we've got to get this done.
Mm-hmm.
And we had sponsors step up and was able to get it done, and we're very happy with it, and looking forward to the time it's going to save us on the field.
That is a huge advantage as well, getting the field ready, not having to tarp and worry about the rain, and you're able to maybe get in some games that may be banged in other places just because of the rain and the infield being too wet.
Yep, that could definitely happen. That if it's one of those days where it's going to rain up until 4:30 or 5 o'clock, we may be able to flip it over to our park and do some things like that. But yes, definitely will save some games too.
Yeah, I'm sure it's different to play on too, and now that you've got it at home, that gives you an equal footing if you go to Riverdale or Oakland. I mean, it's similar.
It is similar, and the only concern I have is when we go to Rockville and Blackman,
mm-hmm.
they've got the natural surface going from the turf where we've been on it all the time to a natural surface. So I may talk to Coach Tobit some over at the middle school and see if he won't let us bum some actual dirt time from him a little bit this year before we go to Rockville and Blackman. And you could run into it in a region or a sectional where you're at a field that's not turf. So we'll cross that bridge when it comes, but we're really happy with having it down and dealing with that now.
Craig Revis joining us, talking Seagull baseball. Craig, the season, once it starts, it's on, and it's like 4 or 5 games a week, and
4 and 5's a slow week. So yeah, I think we have 7 the first week.
Oh wow!
6 the second week, and 7 the third week. So we played like 21 games in the first 23 days. So then it slows back. Then it backs down to that 3 or 4 days a week. And but that's baseball. That's how baseball's supposed to be, and we enjoy it.
Well, you're going to figure out real soon a lot of things, and I guess those 21 games in 23 days is really going to help you know how to kind of maneuver through this tough district this year.
Yeah, absolutely, and we do that too to help develop our pitching staff. We go into a district with 3-game series where you have to have at least 5 or 6 guys. So yeah, that many games early, it allows us to develop that staff, and we get to see, with just 3 of those games being district games out of those first 20 or so, it does allow us to try some other things and try some new guys and see what's going to work best and what's going to be our best lineup we put out there.
And I think you open up with Stewart's Creek, and so you're going to get to test some region waters there. So you'll have, first month or so, you'll have a really good idea of where you are as a team.
We will, yes. And, we play the Grand Slam tournament that Vetter puts together, and then the Warrior Classic that Messer puts together, and we see some really good teams there. So, those first 20 games, we may be 500 or below 500, but still have a pretty good team because we're playing lots of really good team and some solid baseball.
I guess it really kind of starts on the mound too. You've got to have the pitching depth, when you're playing 3-game series in district play, and you feel pretty good about your 5, I think.
We do. We feel real good. Of course, our number 1 will be Matt Kirby, who was co-pitcher of the year in the district last year. He was 4-0, won all 4 starts in the district last year, and won his start in the district tournament. So he's just a kid that knows how to pitch. You just know every time he goes out, you're going to have a chance to win. And our number 2 will be Ben LaLance, who has been around, thrown lots of games. He actually started a game in the state tournament 2 years ago against Science Hill, our last game, and Science Hill went on to win the state tournament, but he pitched a really good game there. So he's really experienced. Our number 3 is going to be Jack Santee, who was sort of our number 4 last year, won a lot of non-district games for us, pitched really well. He's one of those little sneaky lefties. Doesn't throw very hard, but ball moves a lot, changes speed, does all those things. So those will be our 3 main guys going into district. Out of the pen, we had a lot of success with Rogers. Last year, we also played second base. He was sort of our closer last year as a sophomore. We've got Gabe Hamrick, who's spent a lot of time hurt last year, sort of came in last half of the season, so he didn't get to throw much, but we feel like he's going to give us some solid innings. And then Will Horn has thrown really well early this spring. That could probably be our number 4 starter, but he'll also be a long reliever come district games. So we feel with those 6 guys right there that we feel really good, and we've got some younger guys that have thrown well so far this spring. So I feel good going into district season that we've got 5, 6, 7 guys that we can throw out there and keep us in games.
And some of those younger guys, if they can come in and get you a couple of outs and that kind of thing, that builds confidence. And so I'm sure that as the season goes along, you like to develop some depth because you never know what you're going to need as the postseason comes around.
Oh, absolutely. Of course, with the new format in the region and sectional this year, the number of pitchers is very important. Getting to the region, you could get in the loser's bracket and have to win 3 games in 2 days, and you're going to need, 6 guys, so you're going to go 6 or 7 guys in that tournament. So, yeah, the depth is important.
Well, I want to talk to you about that because about the new postseason and how that's going to work, because I remember a few years ago, you had a great team, had to go on the road, finish runner-up in the district, for instance, and had to go on the road and win that first game. And when it's one and done, baseball's really not built that way. What do you think about this new postseason, and maybe explain to us how that was going to work?
Yeah, I like it. In the past, that's exactly what it was. Way back when I was at Laverne, it used to be 3 in a row. The region final and sectional were all single one and dones. Then they changed that to where the region final was sort of just a seeding, but you had to win Monday, Friday, single elimination games. And what that does is if a team has a one stud pitcher that they sort of ride, it allows them to win maybe on Monday, Friday, or Monday, Saturday, whenever those games is, and sneak into the state tournament.
Yeah, they could lose Wednesday and still have their one pitch on Monday and then Friday or Saturday and get to the spring fling.
But now what they've done is they've taken the 4 qualifiers for the region from the 2 districts, and it's basically a double elimination tournament. Outside of once you'll have your 2 teams, all 4 teams play, and then the winners play. Then whoever wins that winners bracket game is your champion. They don't actually have a championship game. And then the rest fight it out, and whoever comes out of the loser's bracket becomes your number 2 seed and will travel down to Chattanooga or whatever. And then now the sectional is the best 2 out of 3. So you're going to have to win a sectional now. You can't go in with 1 pitcher. You're going to have 3, 4, or 5 pitchers to get to the state tournament. And the best thing they've probably done is they've set it up so that the sectional now can end a good 5 days before the state tournament. And I don't know if you've recognized during the state tournament, a lot of times teams come into the state tournament with their 2 or 3 starters.
Yeah, you can't start your one because they just pitched.
And so what they've done now is they're going to allow us to get done with that sectional so that you can go into the state tournament with 1, 2, 3, 4 ready to go. And I think it's going to be, a higher quality tournament. And what it's ensuring is your best teams are going to be in the state tournament. You can't sneak by with one arm anymore. You're going to have a staff. And it's going to get the best teams to the state tournament and should create a really good state tournament.
Well, I want to make sure that if you want to talk about anybody that because you came prepared, we talked about your pitching staff. Anybody else you want to talk about here for the Siegel Stars?
Yeah, I'll go through. We returned 8 of our starters from last year. We were really young last year. And probably our best player this year will be our center fielder, Brody Ballou. He's just signed, along with Ben Lance. They just signed last week with Chattanooga State, so Chattanooga State's got him a couple good players. But Brody bats left-handed. He can steal bases. He runs the ball down in center field. He's one of those table setters that if he gets on base, we're going to score because he's going to be able to steal a base, move around the field, and then Santee, who we already talked about pitching, we got a lot of two-way guys this year that they're going to pitch and play defense. Lane Akers, who has come on really strong, had a solid year last year, but he'll be our catcher. He's really throwing the ball well from behind the plate right now. He's really swinging the bat, so he's going to be one of the best players in the district this year. That he's doing a great job. Got a Romagno. Our second Romagno. Nick played right field last year. He was hurt a little bit early in the season, came on strong at the end, but he's a left-handed bat, runs the ball down well in the outfield. Quentin Papella at third base, he's just a great kid that's a great leader, and, we're expecting a lot from him there. We think Matt Kirby will probably be DH some when he's not pitching or playing first base some too. Him and Santee will sort of hold down first base, but he's done a good job with the bat so far this spring. Rogers at second base again ended up last year we played musical chairs around the infield till we finally settled in with Papella at third and Hamrick at short and Rogers at second, and our defense really settled down and we started playing better baseball. And he's actually swung the bat so far this spring pretty well. Gabe Hamrick will be our returning shortstop. And then left field, we're still a little undecided. We got a sophomore named Kevin Inslee and a junior, Aaron White, that we're just sort of back and forth, and it may just come down to who's playing better at that time. But they've all done a good job. We've got some younger guys that we're actually dressing 3 or 4 freshmen this year that's going to slide in and do some things we think. Very happy or very excited about this young group. Well's definitely not dry as we go through. But that'll be our basic starting lineup. And, we have another senior, Tyree Bryant, that's going to fill in some at second base and give some leadership there. But feel good about it. And, we've played pretty well so far this spring. And, we've got Coffee County today, and we actually got Eagleville on Monday for our last 2 scrimmages. And we'll see how it all shakes out.
And then the first series was Stewart's Creek, and then we're off and running. So
yep, it is. We of course that play 3 games with Stewart's Creek, and that's always tough. We've had some great battles over the years, and of course Coach Howard now the coach there, and we'll miss Coach Bartlett not getting go up against him, but Brian does a great job, and he'll have them ready to play, we know.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, Craig, I appreciate you spending some time with us, and we look forward to seeing you out at the old ballpark here real soon.
All right, look forward to it.
Craig Revis joining us talking Siegel Stars baseball, and this Coach's Show segment brought to you by J. Mullins Jewelry, a family-owned and operated business treating clients like family since 1938. Jewelry design, repair, and a wide selection of great jewelry pieces online at mullinsjewelry.com.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Experts in joint, bones, and muscles. And with over 65 specialists, TOA has a playbook to get you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life.
How about a fix for your sweet tooth? Donut Country is open 24 hours a day to cure your cravings. They've been serving up the freshest donuts in Murfreesboro since 1978. There's just something different about donuts from Donut Country. Bo and Cindy Davis and their wonderful staff will greet you with a smile, and you'll see all donuts aren't created equal. Fresh donuts anytime you want them 24/7 at Donut Country on Memorial down from Clark. And they're open each morning on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. Check out their Facebook page for specials and promotions. Nothing else compares to Donut Country. Open 24 hours.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
This is a paid legal ad.
Hi, this is John Day of the Law Offices of John Day. For more than 30 years, my team and I have worked hard to help injured people throughout Middle Tennessee. Over that time, we've helped thousands of people get the legal help they need when they've needed it the most. And if we're not able to help or aren't the right lawyer for you, we'll do the best to point you in the right direction. If you've been injured, call the Law Offices of John Day for a free consultation. And remember, there's no fee unless we win your case.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Little Caesars Pizza with 4 Murfreesboro locations: Memorial Boulevard, Warrior Drive, South Rutherford Boulevard, and Old Fort Parkway. Get hot and ready pizza from Little Caesars. I'm Danny Brewer. I am blessed now to be joined by Stewart's Creek Lady Red Hawk coach Bianca Hensley. Coach, how are we this morning?
I'm doing well, Danny. How are you doing?
I'm quite well. We got some sunshine. It's March. We got, basketball, baseball, thing about happening. Huge day in horse racing today. Fountain of Youth, the San Felipe. We got all kinds of good stuff going on today. So let's talk a little bit about the week that was. First, last week, a couple of big things for you, one professionally, one personally. I want to touch on those. First, and one told me a little bit about the other, and we'll get into that here in just a second. Monday night, 40-39, Stewart's Creek beats Oakland in the region semifinals. Fantastic game, fantastic atmosphere. Coach, your thoughts?
Very exciting. I think we made the game very ugly. I think we had, 10 points at halftime. Both teams struggled to score. Very proud of our young ladies for just playing very well defensively. We did a 2-3 matchup zone, and I thought our kids did a really good job of moving and communicating and getting one stop. And we came up with the biggest shot at the end of the game. Layla Wilder hit a buzzer beater to win. And so I was just so proud of our kids. A huge win for our team.
Coach, I know that there were times during the game when you challenged your team because, hey, we're turning the ball over too much. We got to play tougher. Hey, remember why we're here. All those kind of things. And they responded. It had to make you feel good as a coach that, hey, they're getting it.
Absolutely. I think, our staff, we do a really good job of challenging our kids. And, from start to finish, obviously the first few possessions, I think we had some stops defensively, did a really good job defensively, but we kept turning the ball over. I thought we came out with some jitters, and then we challenged them, and they came out and made some big plays for us. Starts out with Jada Bernard. She was huge for us in the middle of the paint. I think she had 7 points, about 10 rebounds, and 8 blocks. And so the kid was huge for us in the middle of our 2-3 zone. Layla Wilder did a phenomenal job. Her and Reese held defensively all night, moving on the back end of the zone, getting rebounds. And so just proud of our kids of how they responded for that game. Obviously, Monday night was an elimination game, so we have to bring a different mindset, and I thought our kids showed up.
Toughness. I mean, especially on the defensive end. You mentioned the girl that had 8 blocks because, man, there was more packed lunches than a doggone high school cafeteria going on there. I mean, it was really fun to watch from a defensive end of the floor, but the toughness and like you said, must-win game. a program builder maybe a little bit?
Well, I mean, I think the program has already been built. You know, the coach before me, Coach King, had done a really good job of, making Stewart's Creek basketball into a really solid program. You know, we've had some state tournament appearances. We've had some sub-state appearances. And it's just been since 2017. So I'm fortunate enough to be able to lead our young ladies back to a sub-state appearance. Like I said, our kids have worked hard throughout the entire season. We've had some adversity. Our kids just kept working, never made any excuses. And so I'm just proud of where we are, and I just hope we can continue today.
That was the Monday night win. That was your big professional thing. The big personal thing I want to talk about, and the professional thing, told me a little bit about it. So when I'm watching you on the sidelines there, and I commented to you after the vertical that I saw, the footwork that I saw, you were so into the game. But what that told me was why you got your huge personal recognition this week. I think you were recognized by the Southeastern Conference as one of the top players ever in the women's game, and that's, man, hats off to you. And for those who don't know, she was Bianca Thomas at the time, two-time first team All-SEC, two-time first team All-SEC. You got the number 2 ranked scoring game. You had 42 against LSU. When you drop that on them, that's the second highest single game scoring in Ole Miss history. 670 points in 2009-2010. That ranks 5th all-time for Ole Miss basketball. 20.9 points per game you averaged that year. That's the number 2 all-time at Ole Miss. You're number 3 in career field goals made. 3 different times you hit 7 3-pointers in a game. Whoosh, Coach. I'm telling you, whoosh. And then your 100 3-pointers for your career ranks number 1 all-time at Ole Miss. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. So if you don't know Bianca Thomas Hensley, there you go. How about it, Coach?
Well, thank you so much, Danny. Obviously with our win Monday, I knew that I would probably miss the game on Wednesday, and it was just such a tough decision for me to leave our young ladies, but they were in great hands. Coach Moore and Coach Pierce did a great job with our young ladies. But it was such a great recognition, for me and the career that I've had. I was able to go up to Greenville, South Carolina on Wednesday and got a chance to spend time with the Ole Miss women's basketball team and just see how they do things, and had a ceremony with the SEC and got to meet a lot of head coaches there. So it was an unbelievable experience, and we honestly just got back last night and back to work for today's game. And so just proud of our young ladies. Obviously I don't want to make it about myself. This is all about them, and just hopefully we can find a way today to punch our ticket to the state tournament.
Well, Coach, that's the next thing that I want to talk about, and kudos to you and congratulations, because obviously well-deserved, because like I said, the numbers don't lie. But let's talk about today's venture. You're going to Bradley Central, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so tell me a little bit what you know about them and what you want to see from your team as you head down there to the southeast.
Well, first I think it starts when you think of Bradley Central. All of the program. I mean, they've had such huge success throughout the course of the program at Bradley Central. Jason Reuter does an exceptional job. They're very well coached. They've been to the state tournament 7 out of 10 years. They're tough. They play physical defensively. Everything starts with their inside presence with their freshman posts and their senior posts. They have shooters. So it's going to pose a challenge for us, but I think our kids are ready. We know it's going to be a battle for 32 minutes.
Coach, when you think about kind of the regular season that was, what do you think that you've done to prepare your team for something like this when you go on the road for a chance to go play in the Glass House?
Well, I think, just from the start of the season until now, our kids, like I've said, have been through some adverse moments. And we have never made any excuses, and our kids have found a way to get wins. We went on the road and played MTCS and got a huge win. We played Hillsboro a few months ago, and obviously they're playing for a sub-state tonight as well. So we've played some quality teams, and I think they have prepared us to get to this moment. And honestly, I mean, you're at this moment where it's win or go home, and if you win, you're at the state tournament. So I think that's all the motivation that our kids need to go out tonight and play their hearts out.
Coach, you like the toughness. I know that we've talked about defense in that Oakland game and all that stuff. You like the toughness that you see on that end of the floor?
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking at our last 3 games in the region tournament. We started out with Siegel, and we held them to 29 points. And then we played Oakland, held them to 39 points. And then, obviously, in the region championship, we fell short, but we held Blackman to 48 points. And that just speaks volumes of how hard our kids are working on the defensive end. I guess the biggest downfall is we have to find a way to put some points on the board, because if you look at our last 3 games, we are in the 40s. And so hopefully tonight we do a better job of shooting the ball.
Do you like the patience that you've had offensively? I mean, or is patience one of those things that you preach on that end of the floor?
Yeah, we harp all the time about taking our shots. I think early on, some of our kids would like to, just kind of jack up some shots, but we're trying to stay patient, get a quality look, because obviously, you're at this point now where every possession matters, and so we want to value every single possession.
Coach, when we think about the season that was and all that kind of stuff and the adversity and all that, some good life lessons that have come out of this for not only you but your team as well?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Obviously, whenever the kids start professionally with their career, everything may not go as planned. There's going to be some bumps in the road, and you got to, find a way. And I think our kids have just found a way. If you look at our team, we have roster changes. We have a all-star leading scorer, and our kids just continue to step up and find a way. And I'm just so proud of those young ladies.
Well, Coach, we certainly wish you the best of luck. I think you've become a great role model for your team, because, I mean, all they got to do is look and see what happened for you this week and what all the hard work meant for you, and that recognition that you didn't get that because you just walked out on the floor and showed up. You did it because you worked hard and you do the right things, and obviously you put the biscuit in the basket. So congratulations, Coach, on all this stuff. Wish you the best of luck. That's Coach Bianca Hensley, Stewart's Creek Lady Redhawks. They're traveling to Bradley Central tonight for a chance at the state tournament. The Coaches Show is brought to you by the law offices of John Day, providing superior legal representation to injury victims and their families. Find out more at johndaylegal.com. Coach, appreciate it.
Hello, this is Coy Young at Lascassas Feed Supply. We'd like to welcome you to our door.
Whether you have a quarter acre or several, Lascassas Feed Supply has premium feeds and dog foods you can't find in box stores.
Nutrition is our specialty here at Lascassas Feed.
Plus, every Saturday morning they have a local producer-only farmers market with fresh vegetables, beef, pork, and more.
Customer service and expertise that exceeds your expectations.
Family owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, Lascassas Feed Supply on Barlow Lane, just off Highway 96 East in Lascassas.
Your 401k is likely one of your most important assets, but it's only one part of a comprehensive retirement strategy. Edward Jones can help you understand how your retirement assets fit into your entire retirement picture so that you can work toward meeting your unique retirement goals. Contact me, Lee Colvin, your Edward Jones financial advisor in the Public Shopping Center on South Rutherford Boulevard, or give us a call at 615-907-7056. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
The Coaches Show is fueled by McDonald's Murfreesboro, operated by McGuire Management Group. Look for our Shamrock logo, proudly worn by our team. We're supporters of high school and MTSU athletics. McGuire Management Group operates all Murfreesboro locations and in Smyrna on Nissan Drive. Be sure to download the McDonald's app for mobile order and pay, exclusive deals, coupons, and more. Also, follow us on social media at mcdonalds.mcguire. Want to join our team? Go to mcjob.net. McDonald's Murfreesboro, McGuire Management.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom design jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northville Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
The Coaches Show brought to you by Parks Auction Company. Let their team of experienced and professionally trained staff utilize the auction process to sell your property. Find out more at parksauction.com. Time to talk some Rockvale baseball this morning. Head coach Shay Deal joins us, and man alive, here we are. It's time for some baseball, Coach. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, good to have you here today. And Craig was just here a few minutes ago, and, spring, we've had some pretty decent weather, which means it's going to be very cold for March in the start. Usually, if the weather is nice in February, it's going to be cold as the dickens in March.
Yes, sir. It's been mild, so, we've been able to get outside, but we know the cold weather's coming, but it's been good for my ryegrass, so it finally started coming out, so I feel good about
it. I don't think that the general public realizes for – those who are outdoor sports, football, soccer, girls and boys, and, baseball, softball, just the upkeep and maintenance it takes on those baseball fields in your case.
Yes, sir. It's a 12-month job. The wintertime gets down a little bit, but from the time we get out of school till December, we're working at least 3 or 4 days a week out there. A lot of mornings waking up in the summer and trying to get your work done before everybody at the house gets up. So it's a lot of work, but I enjoy it. You put your headphones in. That's when you get your thinking time and get a little time to yourself, so it's nice.
I talked to some coaches. There are a few turf fields in here now, and, they got to figure out another – because you bring up a good point. That is a good time to sit and think, and you're on the baseball field. You're doing some work. So, I think many coaches love that.
Oh yeah,
part of it.
Oh yeah. A lot of times when you find yourself in a circle talking to coaches and that sort of thing, there's not really a lot of baseball talk going on. It's how your grass look, how's the field holding up, that sort of thing. So we take pride in them, and people don't realize how much hard work goes into it. But there is a lot of great playing surfaces here in the county,
and an amateur meteorologist to that too.
Yes,
right?
sir. I've got 2 or 3 different radars on my phone, so I've got it covered from end to end.
I bet. Well, Shay. After talking to Craig and talked to a few of the other baseball coaches as well in preparation for their upcoming interviews, this year in the district, it's always competitive, and it's going to be just the same this year, it looks like.
Absolutely. We were talking earlier, it's Rutherford County baseball. This is always make the claim that we're probably the best baseball in the state's played. So any night that you go out, it's going to be a dogfight. So you know that going in, and then with the 3-game series, it's just 3 nights of adrenaline filled, and sometimes you wake up and you don't know what day it is. You just know you're going back to the ballpark tonight. So it's good, though. It's fun. Those nights are fun.
It happens so quick, and there are so many games, but you got to think about, you still have to teach, and the kids still have to go to class. There are early mornings and late nights.
Yes, sir. Especially if you got that tarp on the field. People don't realize, but if you're trying to get a district game in on a Wednesday night and the rain came in the night before, some of those kids are at school at 7 o'clock, and we're pulling tarps, and they're changing shoes and trying to get dry and get to class on time. So people don't realize how hard the kids work, because the kids do too. The boys help with the field work and everything too. So I tip my cap to my bunch, because I've trained them, and they know how to do it. We can get that tarp on and off the field in about 10 minutes. So it's not a bad deal.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you have had to do a lot of grooming and extra work just to get your field, because you're brand new practically, and sometimes when you don't want a brand new car that you have to work on a lot, but you got that.
Yeah, that's okay. And it's part of it. We understand. I can't speak highly enough of the group of parents that I have and have had.
Yeah.
They've come in. They've never said no to me. They help raise money. They are always asking if there's anything they can do. They've helped build the new cages that we have. So it's coming together. People don't realize how long it takes, but it's coming together. It's just piece by piece.
Shay, talk to us a little bit about the, I guess let's start with your pitching staff. And we know that if you're going to be competitive in the district and then in tournaments, you've got to have a pretty deep bench.
Yes, sir. I mean, I'm fortunate now. This is a little bit different bunch than I've ever had, and I tell them that on a regular basis. I've got 14 seniors, so they've been with me. They've literally been Rockville baseball for 4 years, so it's a good thing to have. So I've got 4 or 5 arms that I can run out there with the best of anybody, and then on the back half of my staff, they can still compete as well. But I've got 3, 4, 5 big guys that we run out there, and I feel comfortable with the ball every night. Caden Trigg, Braylon Green, Holt Gillespie. Bryce Floyd was an all-district reliever out of the pen last year. He come in and was in some big situations there in the big run that we had and pitched multiple nights and was able to do it and never complained, and I speak very highly of him. And then I've got another senior left-hander, Mitchell Griffin, who he's grown up, he's growing as we go, and he's gotten a lot better. He's grown into his body, and he's a good left-handed pitcher now, so it's good to see.
Kind of talk about your defense, infield, outfield, and anybody else you want to bring up here this morning as we introduce the folks to the Rockville Rockets.
Yes, sir. Like I said, I'm senior heavy, so these guys, like I said, they've been with me for 4 years now, and every day when we get there, they know the routine. I can't speak highly enough. They're teaching the younger guys. They're building the legacy that we talk about with starting a program, because I tell them, you may not see it now, but you're going to have something to be proud of when you come back here, and that's kind of where we're going, and they've bought in. So behind the plate, we've got Parker Matroni. He's a senior as well. This will be his 4th year with us. And then Austin Stewart will be his backup, but Austin Stewart also plays right field for us. At first base, I kind of got a hole. I don't have a hole. I've got 3 guys right there that are competing for the job, and Braylon Green, Cameron Curtis, and Samuel Sausameda. At second base, I've got 2 seniors, 2 of the hardest working kids that I've ever coached, and we talk about it every day. One of them's got to win the job, and that's the hard part as a coach. You got to make decisions that aren't always in the best interest for everyone, or for individuals, but you got to make them for the best interest of everyone. And I can't speak highly enough of these 2, because they come to work, they stay after every day, and they're competing for the job, knowing good and well that the job may not be there. And that's Nolan Harding and Carter Wells. At shortstop, I have Nathan Aguilar, who is a 4-year returner. He'll actually be a 4-year starter, minus the COVID year, because we only got a couple games in. And then Gavin Carter at third. He's a senior as well, has been with us. Caden Trigg, I've got 4 outfielders that I feel comfortable with every night, being out there at any time with Caden Trigg, Robbie Daniels. Isaiah McDonald's he hurt his wrist this week, so we're still waiting on the outcome of that. But if he's not able to go, we have a sophomore named Ty Newton, who just got out of basketball with that great run that Coach Ingram had over there with us. So Ty's a great athlete. I see him fitting in and finding somewhere to play. And then, of course, Austin Stewart in right field. So I've got a very, very veteran crew, which is good because it makes things a little bit easier, because when you get there, you don't necessarily have to worry about getting things set up or making sure somebody's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, because they know what's expected of them when they get there. So, again, I can't speak highly enough of the older bunch that I have.
Talking about being the foundation of your whole program, because 2019 was when Rockville reestablished, and now this group, and missing a year. I mean, they've had a lot of adversity to overcome.
Absolutely. I mean, some of them last year was their first true year back in school because of the COVID, the distance learning year and things of that nature. So this is a unique group, a unique age group in general, just in society. So, but they're hardworking, and they don't. I think losing that first year, they don't take for granted what they have, because they show up and they understand that they only get so long to be there, and we're trying to do the best that we can and try to achieve the goals that we want to achieve.
And we've got Shay Deal talking about Rockville baseball. Coach, this season, spring sports season, is like it starts and then it's over just in the blink of an eye, and it's really busy when it's going on, and all of a sudden you realize, hey, we're through the mid part of the season, or hey, we've got district tournaments starting next week. I mean, it
absolutely
can, you got to savor those moments.
It goes quick, yeah. I mean, it's a grind once it gets here. It's 7 weeks, and it's kind of a blur. Like I said, some days you don't know what day of the week it is. You just know you're going to the ballpark, but it's just one of those things where it's a grind and you go on about it. But I can't speak highly enough that my wife at home, she allows me to. She never says a word to me. It's I gotta go, and she says okay, and she makes sure where the kids are supposed to be, and so it's harder on them than it is on us because we do what we're supposed to do. It's just our life, and we know how. So you can't take for granted what you have at home too.
Well, certainly. I'm sure you get a lot of honeydews in the fall and winter, though.
Absolutely. There's always a list. It's kind of a running joke, but there's always things that's got to be done, and it's understood. That's just part of the job.
Coach, the district, how will it shake out? I don't think anybody knows. Nobody has the crystal ball, and these 3-game series are always tough, and I think it's going to be another great year.
Yeah, like I said, it's an exciting time. If you can come out and watch 7-4A baseball, it's a really good show. I mean, it's competitive. It's everything that you can want to be in high school baseball on a nightly basis.
And something new in the postseason for baseball, the postseason region and sectional tournaments they're actual tournaments.
Yes, sir.
So that's really going to be a big change.
Yes, I mean that's big because you get to that month, you fight through the district tournament, and then once you get to that district tournament and you get through it, then you get one game to decide if your team's worthy enough. And in baseball, it's a little bit different than any other sport. It's a day in, day out thing. So may the best man win. So I think the way that they've got it kind of set up now is going to be beneficial just for the game in itself, because it is a dogfight to the end, and I don't think it should be just one day and they win or go home, because that's not how baseball's meant to be played.
Right, you're right about that, and you play the 3-game series, so you have to have some pitching depth, and then you play in a district tournament, and you may end if rain pushes back a day. Then it depends on who you can start, and not everybody always goes in with their 1 or maybe even 2 in that region game.
We went through that last year where we got to that district tournament, and Coach Looper and I were sitting there, and we were running names and counting pitches and trying to add up numbers and make sure we could get guys going the next day. And that's part of the fun of it when you're coaching. It's just being able to figure out the pieces of the puzzle. So on our side of it, we like doing that, but it can be a lot of work.
Well, but when you build your team with that and try to build the depth in pitching, it's kind of a shame that you don't have the chance to see that in region and sectional play, and so now that kind of fixes that.
Absolutely, and it's gonna develop those extra arms, which we do that. I feel we do a good job in the district period because we do play 3-game series. So we build for the state tournaments, basically what this district does, and it shows in and out because we usually have somebody make a run every year, and it's just a testament to the guys that coach around here, the old timers, as I say. They've got it down to a science, and they've made baseball strong around here.
I think that's kind of the point. The district tournament and spring fling are. I mean, if you don't have the depth at pitching, you're not gonna have a lot of success. But then that region/sectional week, 2 one and dones in the 3 games, and so this kind of changes the whole format. And you can't just get through region and sectional week with one big arm.
Yes, sir. You're gonna have to have a staff, and that's what it's about. I mean, that's how baseball's played. So you need 5 to 6 guys that you can trust with the ball at any time, and that's why we play the schedule we do. We play a very tough schedule. I was looking at it this morning. I think 5 of the non-district teams that we played are ranked preseason in the state right now. So you want to play good competition. That way, when you do get to the end, you're battle tested and you know what you're going into.
Which you're about a week away from the start of the season?
Yes, sir. We open up at Brentwood next Monday, so it's coming. It's coming quick. So it's trying to get everything in and make sure you cover everything at practice and make sure you didn't leave anything out, and just making sure that you stay healthy is the big thing.
Well, we look forward to seeing you out at the ballpark this year. We'll be covering Rockville baseball, especially when we get to district play. It's always a fun time, and I appreciate you spending some time with us this morning to talk Rockville baseball.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Shay Deal joining us, the head coach of Rockville, on the Coaches Show, brought to you by Dr. Automotive, the cure for your car. Professional auto repair and maintenance from ASE certified and master certified technicians. Check them out at SmyrnaAutoRepair.com.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
Craig's Tax Service is located just off Memorial on Heritage Park Drive. You can contact us at 890-2233.
It makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We are proud to support all Rutherford County student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
Dr. Automotive is the cure for your car. Brothers Danny and Randy Brewer have been providing Rutherford County with ASE certified auto repair for nearly 20 years. You'll receive courteous and friendly customer service every time. Why? Because we grew up here, and you are our neighbors. Foreign and domestic auto repair and maintenance on Hazelwood Drive in Smyrna, just off I-24. SmyrnaAutorepair.com, 615-220-0971. Just ask for Danny.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, family owned and operated since 1977. Get the best service with Prentice Allsup Heating and Air online at PrenticeAllsup.com. I'm Danny Brewer. I am feeling so lucky right now. I am joined by Siegel Stars, the Lady Stars head softball coach, Sean Middleton, one of my all-time favorites. Coach Mitt, I'm going to go buy me a lottery ticket after this. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, man. Always good to be with you and all the old Smyrna ties and things like that. And just before we get into this, talking about some softball, is just we'd like to send out our prayers for Janae and all the Smyrna community. And I've got a lot of ties there still, and think a lot about Smyrna High School and the opportunities they gave me. But it's just it's a tough situation, and our school is backing everything that's being done for her and her family, and we just wanted to let everyone know that we're right there as far as the prayers and sympathy and things like that.
Well, Coach, we appreciate that, and next Saturday from 11 to 1, Saturday, March 5th, from 11 to 1, we're going to be doing a drive-through fundraiser at Smyrna High School for Janae Edmondson and her family. And we know we've got the Siegel Lady Stars softball support. And I've challenged the Rutherford County sports community to step up and support. And I know that you will certainly do what you can, and we certainly appreciate all that support for her.
No doubt. Whatever we can do in the community, for sure.
Yeah, because it could be, I said earlier on the radio this morning, the sports community here is something special in Rutherford County, and you've been a big part of that wherever you've been. You've been a huge part of that, and that's got to be a source of pride for you.
Yeah, it is, and it just like you said, your ties from different schools or wherever you've been. It you don't lose those ties, and it means a lot to you. And Smyrna's always meant a lot to me.
Well, exactly, and you've got lots of people down there that love you because you've always done the right things as coach, and you've done the right things for the league, the Siegel Lady Stars. Let's talk about that for a minute. How long have you been the head softball coach at Siegel?
This is fifth year,
Fifth year, and it's been nothing but success. When we think about some of the past players that you've had, the McCrarys and the Presley Liebricks and the Westfalls and some of all those great people, the Sophie Golliver, right? And
yes,
so the SG, all that kind of stuff, got to be a source of pride for you for what kind of talent that you've seen in the last 5 years.
I mean, those kids were all, they were all workers and put a lot into their craft and traveled all summer and were responsible for themselves as far as where they're at and the level they're playing at now. And we're proud of all of them for sure. And it helps your program, when you've got those quality players and they come back to a game or they come back in the summer and work a camp or things like that. So it's big for your program.
Yeah, because let's talk, and I'm just going to mention this girl just for a minute, the McCrary girl. She was so highly touted and all that kind of stuff. Middle school, she came to Siegel and she got even better.
Right.
And helping good players get even better, that's got to be very rewarding for a guy like you.
It is, but when you get a player like Caitlin, who's tremendously talented, and that whole group was with Presley and all of them there too, and Sophie all together, it's a fun group in practice every day. I mean, they get after each other and they compete, and it's just it's a fun atmosphere every single day because they're going to get after it.
The Siegel Lady Star softball program has been. It's been one of the bell cows for Rutherford County because of all the success that you've had. So that's got to be something that you're awful proud of too.
Right, and the players in it now understand that, and they're willing to go to battle for that, and every year you're re-upping and understand the schedule you're going to play and the competition, the level that you're going to play at. They understand that you're going to have a target on your back just because of where you're at, and we understand that.
And can be good. From having that target on your back can be. I know it can be good news, bad news, but you make it good news, right?
Yeah, you got to make it good news. Because it is what it is. You're not going to change that. But once again, now this team's got its own identity. So Caitlin and them have graduated and moved on, and Presley and Vanessa Westfall and all them. So this is you got to create your own identity and move on and do your own thing.
So what's the identity of this Siegel team? Because, you've had very strong pitching in the past. Yeah. You've had some power hitters, too. Right. So what's the identity of this Siegel?
We've got a mix, and our pitching's going to be young. Our pitching is I've got two seniors that have not thrown a lot of innings, with Mary Bradley graduating, and then I've got two freshman pitchers in Mackenzie Ventura and Callie Polk that are going to fill those roles. So, and they're competitive and they get after it every day. So we're going to see how they do. And we've got Emily Hawks, the senior, behind the plate. And we'll see, she'll be leading everything. And Macy Reinhardt's our other senior, and Gracie Anderson. And like I said, that group will be leading. And the good thing about that group is they've been around it. This is their fourth year. And like you said, they've been through the ups and downs and the fights and understand that every time that you lace it up and you go on that field, you've got a target on your back, and here's what's expected. And they've got a young group they've got to lead.
Let's talk about Hawks for just a second. Having a girl like that behind the plate, that's a senior who's been through the wars. Great news there.
She on and off the field, she's a leader. And that's, she understands the game. She's put a lot of work into her craft, and, she's going to play college softball at the Cumberland. So, all those things are going well for her. Great student, great person. So, we, like I said, we put a lot on Emily to lead and do those things, and she does a great job with that.
So when we talk about, you mentioned several pitchers here, could it be a little bit of a staff by committee? Because some schools they go with one girl the whole time, but could you be staff by committee?
Yeah, I think instead of like you've seen us in the past with Sophie and Mary, I think you're going to see some different people on the mound this year, and we'll see how those freshmen compete to begin with. And Mackenzie Ventura has played at a higher level in travel ball and things like that, and they'll all have their opportunities to see where we're standing.
So, Coach, how have things gone to this point? Have you had any scrimmages so far?
Not any scrimmages so far. We'll have next Saturday. We'll start out there and play 4 in a day and see how things go there. And we'll compete and go get after it in the infield and defensively. Of course, we've got Jasmine Sneed back at short, who just finished her basketball season last night, and Bree Allen back, who started last year. So those kids will be fixtures for us in the infield, and we got a young sophomore playing third in Auburn Carls that'll help. So, and they've been around it and they've competed, and they know what's expected.
I know that big baseball guy you are. The similarities between girls softball and baseball, a lot of similarities. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, there's some. There's some. But the game's different just because of a smaller aspect of the field and how fast the game is, and especially pitching wise with baseball. There are still similarities, but the field size, the speed of the game, things like that are different.
I know that you were part of the staff over there at Smyrna whenever they won the state and all that kind of stuff, right, and everything. So the transition from baseball to softball, was it easy for you? Not easy? Talk about that a little bit.
It was. It was similar. It was pretty easy for me because at the time when we were coaching with Shepherd, I did the infield and did all the infield drills and all that stuff, and most of those are pretty similar to what you're doing in those situations, and we work kind of well. The biggest difference is the pitching part, and how you're going to call the pitches and how you're going to set things up. That's the major difference. But as far as just infield drills and things like that and hitting and things like that are very similar. So kind of fit right in line.
When we think about pitching, if folks don't understand girls fast pitch softball, it's important for your pitcher to have multiple pitches, right? Because if you're just throwing the heat, you can't just always blow everybody away.
No, that's true. I think the rise ball is the biggest difference. And if you can master that craft, that's a pitch that kind of sets everybody apart. If you can master that craft and get people to chase that pitch. that's a big pitch for you.
So the rise ball, is that kind of like the high fastball, like the high cheese?
Yeah, but I mean, it's to me, the way they spin it is a whole different level. Baseball players have trouble hitting it, depending on how it's rotating that day.
Exactly. So because you had to educate me a little bit, because I'm a big baseball guy too, and I enjoy watching girls softball because it's so entertaining. There's so much spirit. It is fast moving, which is really good. That's better than baseball, because baseball sometimes can crawl at the speed of a snail.
It can, and the thing about softball is once it starts, I mean, it's like you said, it's going, and it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it's very, very quick.
Yeah, it is. But so the rise ball, I guess, would that be like, say, in baseball, if you would throw in the sinker? No,
not really. I mean, it's just like I said, it's a game changer. It's a totally different aspect, and how they're throwing it and how they work it and how they get under that thing and throw it.
Coach, talk for a minute about the success of the past and these girls who come back and the program that you've built over there, as far as, because I know that there are girls who will come back to watch you play and to be part of the program and all that stuff. So that's got to give you a good feeling too.
Yeah, it does. And then we keep up with where they're at and where they're playing, and we'll see them. If they play around here, we'll try to go see them play, and it's fun to see those kids be successful and carry on the next part of their life, and having those kids playing in big time college softball.
Coach, when we think about the competitiveness of Rutherford County, because you've been a part of that a long time, and especially in girls softball, people don't understand, football's good, basketball good, but what about girls softball? It's been super competitive there too, right?
Yeah, it has been. I mean, it like you said, always, year in, year out, the years we had battles with Blackman, and you got Kaylee Harding playing at Florida State, and those years, I mean, those were just some fun games, and one-run ball games, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and just fun to watch. And it's us and Riverdale and all the old rivalries and things like that continue.
When do you open the season, Coach?
13th of March.
13th of March. So when do you play at home first game?
20th against Riverdale.
The 20th against Riverdale. So we're jumping right into district play there, right?
Yeah, we jump in pretty quick to district play.
Yeah. So like I said, we've talked about this, and I don't want to beat a horse to death, but the competitiveness of that's exciting, all those district games, right?
Oh, yeah, they're exciting. It doesn't matter where you're going to go, anywhere in the county, to be honest with you, is always competitive. And got a great softball team down at Eagleville, too. So, I mean, all those things mixed in the mix together here in Rutherford County, some great things going on in softball.
Coach, anything else you want to add about Lady Star Softball 2023?
We are good, man. Excited to get after it. Coach
Sean Middleton, mastermind over at Siegel for the Lady Stars, doing a great job over there. If you want to see some great action and lots of excitement, get over to Siegel and watch Coach Sean Middleton leading the Lady Stars. Appreciate you, Coach.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.
Meet Little Caesar's Thin Crust Pizza with toppings all the way to the edge and a crispy crust.
I love you, Cindy.
Sorry, but that commercial voice guy was right. I only love thin crust.
Ouch, Billy. Put on your fancy pants and sashay into Little Caesar's for the Fanceroni Pepperoni. With over 100 crispy old-world pepperoni and cheesy crust edge, you'll be saying fancy words like indubitably or crochet. Walk in and walk out for only $9.99.
Little Caesars in Murfreesboro on Memorial, Warrior Drive, South Rutherford, and Old Fort.
Pizza.
The Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Carpets by Osborne, who would love to help you complete any job, whether residential or commercial. Carpet, tile, hardwood, vinyl, rugs, and more. Locally owned, online at carpetsbyosborne.com. I'm Danny Brewer. Welcome to the Coaches Show this morning. We are joined now by Eagleville head baseball coach. We're done shifted gears here. Head baseball coach Brandon Bassham. Coach, how you doing this morning?
I'm great. How are you?
Well, I'm doing quite well, and we are happy to be here. It's March, so that means high school baseball, right?
It does. Of course, you said March is basketball season with March Madness, but also we get cranked up, and that's what I told my kids the other day. March means it's time to go, and we've done a lot of preseason work, and I think the kids are excited and ready to go. We've got a couple scrimmages in, and hope to get at least one more, maybe two more in this week before we start a week from Monday. So the kids are ready, I think.
Well, but before we get into some of the meat of this stuff, there was some storm damage at the field yesterday. Is that right, Coach?
Yeah, our batter's eye out in center field. You know, it's really big, and it took some damage there. Some of the tin looked like it was basically just peeled off, and the poles look good. So I think hopefully maybe in the next few days or weeks, you know, we can get that tin replaced, and I think maybe a little fence damage underneath the batter's eye as well. So you know, hopefully a quick fix, and we can get going, you know, back in a few days. We have to reschedule or move a middle school game this week, but I think by opening day we'll be at least ready to go.
Coach, how long have you been the head baseball coach out there at Eagleville?
This is year 4.
Year 4. Okay, so you've had a pretty good run here. Let's talk about the success of Eagleville baseball, because defending state champs, Eagleville School. That's correct, right?
That is, yes, it is. It's been a lot of fun, and I think it's what everybody says it is. And it's been a great 9 months, and we. It's time to go again. So having the kids kind of come back in and refocus, and we've kind of took on a motto of embrace the chase to do it again. And but yeah, I mean, it's been a great 9 months. It really has been.
When you think about that, the championship is wonderful, but also that creates expectations, which there have been strong expectations at Eagleville baseball for quite some time, because I know you've been to the state tournament 2010, 2011, 2012. 2019, and then you won it last year, so you're no stranger to success.
Well, that's a good question. I got there in the summer of 2019, you know, after the previous run, and you know, we felt, of course, you know, we get canceled in 20, and then fall short in the sub-state in 21, and I really think that kind of fueled that run last year's. You know, we kind of got hot at the end of the year and just didn't play well the week of the regions and the sub-state, and went to South Pitt and got beat 10-0 in 5 innings. Just one of those nights where nothing went right, you know. And I remember when we met in right field that night, and I really do think that kind of fueled that team. And that team had great seniors and great leadership. Of course, any championship team does. They have to have that. But I do think that night kind of fueled that whole thing. And so now it's odd to kind of take, you know, and that's one I've kind of told our kids too. You know, how many people get to defend a championship? But think about how neat that is and how cool that is. And again, I hope they take that and embrace it and run with it. And that's what we're trying to do this time. But they know that the expectations are there. And I told them when the bus pulls up, you know, people know who we are, and that's a great thing. You know, that means we've had success. You know, again, coming off that championship, and again, I hope the kids have fun with it and they don't take this, you know, weight on their shoulders and as a burden, kind of.
Right, because getting there is tough, as you well know. You talk about the sub-state loss, but staying there is even harder, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I've, you know, of course, I've had the question many times, you know, from the summer on, you know, can we do it again? That's what I've told people. You know, just getting to the state tournament is one accomplishment. And then, like I said, hanging around and winning 4 games to win it is just a totally different one. So, you know, I'm sure we'll be a completely different team in May than we are in early March. And we were a year ago. You know, we weren't the same team late May we were in early March a year ago. So, you know, just try to get better every day and every week. As kind of as we talked about, you know, our goal every week is to win the week, whether that's, you know, 2-1 or 3-1 or 4-0 or whatever that is. And, you know, again, just try to get better with every practice and every game.
Coach, what's the strength of your team this year, you feel like, or is it too early to tell?
You know, look, there's a lot of arms coming back, and I think part of that is, you know, a couple of our seniors, you know, last year, Tanner Mabry and Nathan Brewer, you know, missed a lot of time on the mound, you know, with some injuries because they come back and pitch in the state tournament, the state championship game. You know, so there's a lot of returning arms that threw several innings for us, and big innings. You know, you look at juniors Braden Baker and Jeff Coate, senior Colton Daniel, and also senior Daniel Floyd will throw some big innings for us too. So we've got 4 or 5, maybe even 6 guys, you know, that have thrown some quality innings for us. I think that would have to be our strength to start the year. You know, is our quality pitching and pitching depth.
Well, you know, that's always a good thing for a coach, because pitching is a consistent thing that can always win games, especially early in the year. You think that's accurate?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, you know, usually the pitchers are ahead of the bats because they've been inside or throwing pins since whatever, you know, early January or whatever it is. But like you said, that's usually the case early. His arms are ahead of bats, and I said, if those guys can throw strikes, as you said, I think they'll keep us in games. And you know, I don't think we'll average 10 runs like we did a year ago. That's really hard to do. So, you know, whatever that average is going to be, whether it's going to be, you know, whatever 5, 6, 7, you know, hopefully that's enough to get the job done with the arms of returning.
Coach, let's talk for a minute about the Eagleville community and what kind of special place that is. I know that you've only been there for a few years, but so far, your exposure to the Eagle community, your thoughts?
Well, my dad coached at Mount Pleasant, which is, I would say comparable to Eagle. It's a small town where, the local sports mean a lot. And, they're not in one building like we are at Eagle K-12, but, they're kind of the middle school, the high school and elementary are all kind of on one road there together. And so that's really the reason that I wanted that job and the reason we're there. I want that for my boys and my family. But like I said, the support's always been there. But last year during that run and during the state tournament run, of course, you had the softball going at the same time, which did the same thing, which actually won it, a day or 24 hours before we did. But, I tell you, getting off that bus that day at the state championship and that, it was kind of a ball walk type deal, and my wife had prepared me and told me it was coming. But that's one of the moments I'll never forget. The crowd that day, and again, just the excitement we had for those kids when we got off the bus that day was just unbelievable. It's hard to compare it to anything. It really is.
When we think about Eagleville athletics, you just said it. The girls won the state championship in softball. You won the state championship in baseball. Basketball is good. Football is always in the playoffs. Floyd Walker does a good job over there with that. Girls basketball is strong. Eagleville athletics, a big source of pride over there, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I said all the way around. You just hit it. It's a school thing. And our administration does a great job in supporting this, and again, the community does. And I'll be honest with you, we were on the way to Memphis. My wife's family had a death in the family, and so we were on the way down here, and I got the pictures and photos. And I really just didn't stress a lot about it because I know we have good people that'll take care of it. And then that's comfort to me is that whether it's a few days or weeks or whatever, but people will pitch in, and I've already had people call and text and say, hey, if you need my help, let me know. And that's exactly what Eagleville's all about.
So did I hear you correct earlier that you averaged 10 runs a game last year?
Yes, sir. You heard that correctly.
Wow. So lots of big sticks. So how many of those did you lose, and will it be more small ball this year? Tell me a little bit about your offensive approach.
Well, like I said, I'm a small ball kind of guy. I like to bunt and hit and run. And really last year we didn't do a lot. We just we didn't because the order was so good. And we graduated the first 4 hitters, so 5 through 9's back. And, of course, they'll move up in the order in some order. And then there's 4 or 5 spots there to fill in. And I really like my sophomore class. And actually there's some seniors that have been really great and kind of waited their time. So, they'll get the first chance, absolutely. And there'll be some interesting battles there. But, like I said, those guys that are back, and, some of those guys hit 400 or above and, hit 2 home runs or 4 home runs. So we've got some pop coming back. We got some really good players coming back that I'm excited about. So, again, still trying to, fight a lot at that order and get things settled down. But, yeah, I think we did average right at like 10.1 runs a game last year again, which is just unreal. And, those 4 guys at the top of the order will be, we won't replace them. We'll have to do it in a different fashion. But and those guys, all 4 of them had such a tremendous year, and I think that's what made it so great. And the bottom was really good too. I think when you go 37-2 and win a state championship, those things have to happen. But the top was so good, and then the bottom would roll it over and get it right back to the top. And this game's crazy, but you don't win 22 in a row, many times and do that. And that's what I've tried to explain to people. Really all summer is how well that all worked together.
22 in a row on the baseball diamond. Oh my goodness gracious, that's unheard of. Do you think that small ball, to me, that's the basic fundamentals of the game? I coached baseball for a while, and that's the basic fundamentals of the game. Is that kind of getting lost a little bit maybe sometimes?
I think so. I really do. And again, what do you want to call me? I'm in kind of year 20 of my coaching career. My old school or whatever you want to call me, because my dad coached me, and that's kind of the way he was. And like I said, I still think the bunt and the hit and run, plays a really big role in the game. But, I think you watch a major league game now or a college. Of course, the colleges do it more than the major, but basically now I think the sack bunt's just about taken out of the major league game, which I don't like, but that's they didn't ask me. But I think at our level, getting runners over and getting them in scoring position, or again just putting pressure on the defense. I think that's lost sometimes. But whether it's getting a lead, and I think just getting a lead sometimes just settles kids down or makes them feel more confident. I think that approach sometimes is lost in our game, and that's not something that that I like. But that's how it is, I guess.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I don't even like watching Major League Baseball anymore because it's kind of like watching slow pitch men's softball. It's either a home run or a strikeout, kind of type thing. So I don't even like that. Last thing I want to ask you about is my cousin Mudcat Brewer. Is there going to be a Mudcat sighting this year around Eagleville baseball?
Well, if there is, it'll be him, coming back to watch some games, and I'm sure he'll be around, because he's gone with Nate, to MTSU as he should to go watch him. Nate graduated and moved on, and man, what a year Nate had, with the state championship and Mr. Baseball and TBCA Player of the Year. I mean, he was just phenomenal all year. I think it was, I'm trying to roll off stats in my head here, but like 453 with like 14 homers and 59 RBIs, So, I mean, what an incredible year, he had at the plate that led to some of those numbers we talked about. But, yeah, Mudcat's moved on. We'll miss him tremendously. I already miss him throwing BP. My shoulder and elbow is a little more sore than it has been because Mudcat, along with being a great coach, was a great BP thrower. So we kind of miss him around a little bit. And some of these wet days we've been inside, and I've had to kind of chunk that thing, but that's okay. We'll get through it. But we'll miss Nate and Mudcat for sure, but I'm sure they'll both be around. So we've already seen, I think, Mudcat made the first scrimmage. So I think he'll be there probably more than he realizes.
Well, he's got it in his blood. I don't think he can help it. So, Coach, we appreciate your time. That's Coach Brandon Bassham with Eagleville Baseball. Great things are going on over there. If you want to see some good baseball, you can go over there to Eagleville and see some fantastic fantastic game over there. Coach, we appreciate your time. Wish you the best of luck. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Middle Tennessee Electric, serving our community by providing affordable, reliable, and safe electricity online at mte.com. Appreciate it, Coach.
Parks Auction. We handle everything.
You have a staff that comes to your home. They tell you what to do. They walk you through it. It's been my experience that what I thought I should get for my home, I got much more for it.
Visit our website at parksauction.com.
Hi there, Parks Auction, 896-4600. Stan Vaught and the Parks Auction team are proud supporters of local high school and MTSU sports.
It's time to talk MTCS sports. It's Cougar Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro.
Presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA, live your best life. Online at TOA.com.
We're joined by Middle Tennessee Christian School coaches to talk about their most recent games and their upcoming opponents. It's time to talk orange and white on MTCS Cougar Corner.
And good morning, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Cougar Corner. And this morning, John Dingens is with the Valena Lions here, the head coach of the Lady Cougar softball team. And before we get started on that, Valena, you and I go back a long time. I used to yell at you. Yell for you back in the old days when you were pitching. But how's your dad? I know if a lot of people don't know, Pierre is her father, and he's had some health issues, but seems to be the last few times I've talked to people, it's been great.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for asking. He's actually doing well. He had some little health setbacks, but I think we're on the upswing of things, and he's being dad, so that's good.
Yeah.
So we just want to keep him healthy and keep him moving like he likes to do, because he doesn't like to be still. So had a good doctor's report this past week, and we're doing well.
Well, somebody told me that he had been seen working still at Patterson, walking around, and somebody asked how he was, and he said he's okay. But that's so crazy that because he can't sit still, he just can't. But
yes.
And if for people that are new to the area, Pierre Lyons is a legend in terms of baseball in this town. And but really the mold, the crust of your family, the one that holds it all together is your mother.
Very true.
Very true. They weren't planning on having daughters, I'm sure, but both of you are very successful, and you got to owe it to Mama. She's always the core.
You're right.
But we're best wishes to him, and I know his continued health. And I did happen to see him at a restaurant about two or 3 weeks before he was going into this second surgery.
Right.
And he told me to pray for him, and I certainly did. And I'm thinking there's a lot of people in this town that are praying for him.
Yeah, and he did say that, and he mentioned that, and he said, if you go in there and you talk to Mr. Dinkins, you tell him thank you for praying for me, because I did ask him for his prayers. So.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and boy, he's been around sports a long time, as have you. And you know, a lot of people may not know. You know, had a brilliant career at Oakland, and you've about done it all in terms of softball, I guess. And you've been an assistant coach for a while before you became a head coach.
Correct. That's right.
Where did you start?
So with my coaching career, I started right out of college, assisting some of the Oakland kids, like on a travel softball team. And then I started coaching at Oakland for 3 years. Then I made the switch and went across town to Siegel and coached there for 8 seasons. And
wow, you were there that long.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was there for 8 seasons there, and then once the coaching change happened, I went to Oakland Middle School because Charlotte P. was like, you can't just not coach, so I need you to do something. So I went to the middle school for 1 year at Oakland before she got the head coaching job at Oakland High School. And then I made the transition with her and was there with her for 3 years before I came over to MTCS.
And you and Charlotte go back forever and ever and ever, and still you guys hang out. Yes. I know as much as you can, and but that's fun. That makes the job fun, doesn't it? To have people that you admire and think a lot of.
Yes, and I mean, and it's also great just to have. She's like my older sister because her and my sister actually played together. So literally, she's been around me since I was 3 years old. So she knows the good, the bad, the ugly. So I can go to her on a professional level. I can go to her on a family level and just ask her, questions, or, she's been a great mentor for me, being a head coach. And so it's been great, to have a well-rounded support system.
The move to Middle Tennessee Christian School last year. Tell me how now that you've been a head coach and got that experience, what was that like last year? And did you may have to make any adjustments or change anything from being an assistant to the head honcho?
Yeah, everything falls onto your plate. That's exactly what happens when you move into that head role. So yeah, I had to make a lot of changes. Whereas typically you can kind of be the fun coach and kind of do everything. Yeah. You have to be more of the disciplinarian and, kind of straight to business. But still at the same time wanting to be fun when you can. But when it's time for play, it's time for play. And when it's time to, get into it, we got to get into it. So just doing that. And I mean, paperwork and the administrative side, it's a little different.
And I guess, too, you have to work with parents and and also the field, getting the field ready and that kind of thing. How was that structured at MTCS? Because I know they have a lot of people that are willing to help out there.
So fortunately, I do not have to do the field. One of my assistants, that's Brad Bird, he does the field. So I lucked up in that category. I really appreciate that on his end. Dealing with the parents, yeah, it's different because like I said, everything is coming straight to you now. Whereas, you are I was typically on the background and, on the sideline when I was an assistant. So everything, like I said, is directed towards me, dealing with parents, it's just different.
We've got this year is kind of going to be a little different for you. I suppose you're younger. Is that the key?
Yes, we are younger. I graduated 7 seniors last year. This year I have 2 seniors. So I would say, I guess we have a rebuilding year. We got to rebuild the program. Even though we may have some, upperclassmen in some positions, they're still very new to those positions. We have some holes that we got to fill. And the first couple of weeks of ball, we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to figure out what sticks, what unit's going to work together to help have a successful season. So we're going to try a lot of different things.
And you had, as you mentioned, 7 seniors. That had to be really helpful in your first year because, but at the same time, they've been there with 3 years with different people, and now all of a sudden they've got you. Mm-hmm. Was that a difficult transition for them? It appeared that it was not, but...
To believe it or not, that's what I really was worried about going into that situation, having that many seniors and them coming off of a successful season prior to me getting there. But actually, my senior class was excellent. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better class to do what I ask, to buy in to what I came over there, trying to implement. I know it was some challenges for them having someone different and, just a different mentality, different terminology. But they soaked it in, and I felt like, we did well,
And so, and the difference with them gone now, you've had. How do you go into the year? I know you've got some preseason games coming up this week. You'll be able to tell a lot by just actually playing, won't you?
Yeah. So that's what we have the preseason games for, just to kind of see what we have, what changes we need to make, just to kind of see the girls in different situations and different scenarios, see how they react. That helps me as a coach to know how can I coach them, what do I need to do, what changes I need to make on my end that's going to better them. So, I just think, going into this and playing multiple games, we'll have like 4 games. It'll give me a lot of, time to see exactly what we need to do.
And I guess you've got people battling for different positions, and too, I'm sure that we're going to talk about that in just a second. One thing I know about Middle Tennessee Christian School is the fundamentals. They're sound in terms of a school helping their coaches, and you've got a really good athletic director and Coach Piercy, and he gets more involved in it just about than anybody. He's the biggest fan of almost all the sports. I don't know how he gets to all of them.
I would agree. He is like at that school early in the morning until like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. He puts in the work, and he is there for all. I can see for all of the coaches, and in every sport. So sometimes he has to fill in for some coaches in those sports. So I couldn't ask for a better AD in Coach Piercy, and I'm just glad and fortunate that I was able to be under him.
He's a people person.
He is a people person,
and that makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, one of the most affable people you'll ever want to meet, and he likes to make comments about himself that brings you to that level a little bit. He doesn't think he's better than anybody else. Above what he's doing, and he's just a plain down to earth guy. Enough about him, though. That's kind of I don't want to make it the Jason Piercy show. Let's talk about some of the players that you've got coming out this year, and it always starts. Where it starts. You've been there, and this is your baby right here. It's on that little pitching rubber.
Yeah, it starts in the circle. So again, now we've faced some little off-season challenges. One of our pitchers that we had last year, Isabel Potter, suffered an ACL injury this past summer, so she's had to do a lot of rehab and getting back into the swing of things. So, starting off early, it's going to be baby steps with her, getting her back in the swing of things. So we're going to be very, very, very limited in the circle. We're going to have to use our staff of 2. And we have Matea Ciramella that's coming back. Last year she battled some injuries and didn't get to pitch as much in the circle. She had some back injuries, but she's been, rehabbing and doing what she needs to do to try to get back on the field. So there's going to be a lot of in and out and just working as a unit with both of them.
So it's a situation where it could really, really be good when everybody gets totally 100%.
Yeah.
But right now it's more like we're going to just have to see who can do what they can do,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep. We just got to work together and see how many innings we can get out of each. And like I said, right now saying one is going to throw a complete game, that's in reality not going to happen. So, knowing that they're going to have to depend on each other and rely on each other and rely on the, 8 behind them, that's going to be key.
We're talking to Valena Lyons, the head coach of the MTCS Lady Cougar softball team. Valena, it's changed on the mound a little bit too, whereas if you started a game for Oakland, you were going to finish it.
Correct.
And then you were going to finish another game. And then, you might pitch 5 games in one day, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a little different. It seems like now that they're teams would rather have really 2 solid, don't have to be fantastic, but just 2 solid pitchers or a third even it seems like they're going to that a little bit more. Am I crazy, or is that what's happening a little bit?
Crazy. I will say I blame the travel ball world for that, because with the travel ball world, you have time limit games. So kids are not trained to throw a full, complete 7-inning game because they're maybe getting through 4 to 5 innings. So, stamina and just being trained to know, and the mentality, they're not ready to do that. Whereas high school, we're going to throw a complete, 7 innings, and unless, for any reason there's a run rule. But I would say the travel ball world has not prepared the pitchers now for the long haul.
Yeah, and they may have 6 or 7 that they're trying out too at the same time, right?
Correct.
Let's go to first base then.
All right. Well, first base, we have returner Poppy Jo Howard. She's going to be looking there for time. Also, she's coming off of a knee surgery as well this past summer. So, we're going to look for to get some more depth going there. But right now, she's, keyed in as our first base returner. At second base, we had an 8th grader that moved up last year, Elena Reynolds. That was a 9th grader. She is going to be key for us in the middle infield. She got to play a little of the postseason last year, so she got to get her feel of what playing at the next level from middle school is about. So I think she's going to fit in really well. And then we have returner Rose Davis, who's an Oklahoma State signee. She's going to have to be the leader on the infield. She's been there the last 3 seasons, so I know she'll take command of the infield and have them ready. With the left side, we graduated Hannah Vaughn, so we're going to have to fill the hole of a third baseman. And so right now, we don't have anyone slated in to play third. That's something that we've got to figure out. I do have a catcher that can play third that's been there as well, Greer Foster, that we may have to look, being on the left side of the field as opposed to being behind the plate. But we're just going to see how that pans out. But again, we can go talk about that. The catching position, I also have Bella Smotherman. She's a sophomore. We kind of threw her into that position last year knowing that we would be in this situation. So she's making strides and really getting there and really working on the fundamentals with our assistant coach, Abby Smith, who played at Sanford, and that was her primary position, catching. So we're doing a lot of work with that as well.
So last year you saw that there could be a need in catching depth, and went ahead and that's a good move right there. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we go to the outfield, I guess.
Ooh, we go to the outfield, and this is where we're really young because we did graduate one of our pitchers, which was Mandy Barrow, that also, when she didn't pitch, played center field, and then Isabel Potter, who was our pitcher that's still there with the ACL injury. They intertwined and played outfield for me last year, whereas this year we don't have either or. So we did move up an 8th grader, Riley Osborne, that's going to look to play, probably command center field for us this year. So she's going to have to grow up real quick. And then on the left and right sides of the field, we're still trying to figure out that position as well.
So it's up for grabs. The outfield.
It's up for grabs. Whoever wants it, whoever shows that they, the interest in it and that they can get the job done, that's who we're looking for.
Now, at one time I would think, okay, playing an 8th grader would be really difficult. But at the same time, if any sport can deal with it, it would probably be girls softball because they've played so much travel ball.
Correct.
You hit the ball, you see the ball, you catch the ball. Those are things that, not necessarily, but it's the other nuances of the game. I mean, it's everything else mentally, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we're really looking for our other senior, Maddie Hatfield, to step up and play the outfield for us this year. She was more of a DH capacity last year. So, she's going to have to take on that role of playing the defensive side of things this year for us. So, I mean, it's going to be challenging, but I'm excited. I'm up for the challenge.
Well, I wanted to ask you, last year you had seniors and there's some expectation to win.
Yep.
This year, I always wonder, I know it's fun to win, don't get me wrong, but it is kind of fun and challenging to see and watch them improve and grow as the season goes on.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you're right. And I mean, and this year is going to be a year of growth and a year of versatility and movement for these kids. So they're going to have to learn a lot. Like I said, they're going to be thrown in positions and situations that they may have never typically would have even imagined that they would be thrown into. But we're here. That's what we're going to do, and we're going to have to work together. So.
I don't want to leave anybody out.
Mm-hmm.
If we've gone through, if there's anybody else you want to mention here.
Yeah. Well, I have some new ones that want to take on the challenge of playing softball. So, I have a junior, Hannah.
So never played?
Never played.
Wow, that is challenging.
That is the joy of being at a private school.
Uh-huh.
You're limited in numbers with the athletes in the school, so you do have some kids that want to try a different sport.
But that's fun. It's amazing to think that.
It is fun. So, like I said, we have I have two girls that have never played before. We have a freshman and a junior. So Hannah Rudzinski, she's a junior. She's been running track the last couple of years. Really wanted to come out to run, but now it's like, oh, okay, I'm getting into this, and then Maggie Watson, she's a freshman, and I did move up another 8th grader. Her name is Bella Elliott. So we moved up 2 8th graders this year, just so we have some depth as well, and that way we have options, throughout the season.
It's going to be. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. If it's amazing to me how they're so young. I mean, this is really young. Valena, when you say young, you're thinking sophomores. Well, we're talking 8th graders.
We're talking 8th graders, yeah. I said they're going to have to grow up quick. So they may be 8th graders in the classroom, but they're going to be 9th graders on the field for sure.
Since the days you've played, which has not been that long ago, I don't care what people tell you, but games changed a lot. It's become more of a hitter's game too, isn't it? I mean, and what do you think is reason for that? Is that just getting more kids actively playing in softball?
I definitely feel like the sport has grown and getting people more involved and the kids, into it. We have a lot of instructors that are out there now teaching hitting, the philosophy of hitting, the bats now. The technology of the bats are unreal. So whereas it just used to be just a pitcher's duel, there's pitching machines that throw rise balls and curve balls and screw balls and that show you the movement of the pitch. So I think just the knowledge of the game and how it's grown and the technology of the game has really helped the hitters.
And the era of 1-0, 45-minute game is about over. And as well as I do, it used to happen all the time. Yeah. And Oakland had the best, you and then was it Erica followed you, and we had the Edwards girls.
Yep. Nikki and Andrea Edwards.
And they just dominate.
Jennifer Milam.
I forgot about her.
Yeah.
And it was just a dominant thing. But they all seemed to get into Oakland. Yeah. I mean, there just happened to be luck of the draw, I guess. As some would say, but. And it's fun to watch though now. I mean, I think sometimes softball wasn't as popular because nobody could hit the ball. Mm-hmm. I know they couldn't hit you, but But anyway, well, I guess we can wrap things up here. Just you start some preseason games. And when does your season officially start, if you can tell me?
My season officially starts on March 20th. We open up with Watertown. And then we'll play the 21st right after that against defending state champs, Columbia Academy. So it'll be interesting. So we'll have a non-district game and then a district game to lead us off.
Well, it's hard to believe it's here, isn't it?
It's here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And tip of your cap to your coaches. I know you mentioned one, and it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. It is.
And you couldn't get Tab to come over and do any of that.
No, she's good where she's at.
Yeah. Well, continued success. I know it's going to be a fun year, and the Lady Cougars are in good hands with you. I know that for sure. And
be sure you tell your dad, I'm thinking of him, and your mom too. A lot of people think that's a strain on mom as well. And I've had some issues like that he's going through. So hopefully he'll be 100% very, very soon.
Yeah,
he's still a young guy.
He's still a young guy. He says he's going to be out there soon, so you shall see him.
Do you want him to? Okay, now I'm kidding. I love the way he used to go and help y'all. And he still wants to be kind of hands-on kind of guy. He's so involved with it. And how many years did he coach? Was it while he taught? I guess it was every year, wasn't it?
It was every year. So, at least 35 plus years. I don't know, a lot. And then, I've brought him out of retirement. So, he helps me over at the Christian school. So,
Well, you'll be glad to get him back then.
I'll be glad to get him back. I will. Yeah.
All right. Valena, always a pleasure talking to you, and keep up the good work at MTCS. That's Valena Lyons, the head coach of the MTCS Lady Cougars. And when we return, Brian will wrap things up here on Cougar Corner.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
The large majority of our kids are involved in athletics or extracurricular activities, one or the other, and most are doing multiple activities.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
And that's a great preparation for life. How many of us in our life are just doing one thing? So a well-rounded student is a huge deal.
Invest in your child's future in a Christ-centered environment with many athletic and extracurricular choices.
Without a doubt, our students have the opportunity to be involved in multiple activities.
To find out more, visit mtcscougars.org. Dr. Russell McKissick of Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance talks about the grassroots effort in our local schools to ensure proper care for players.
To make sure our teams are covered here locally, be there for our trainers. Yeah, it's a passion that we have to try to take care of our athletes here in town and be there just to keep everybody playing as healthy and as best they can.
From a community standpoint, one of the most important things you do at TOA, I'd guess.
I think it's definitely a way to pay back to our community, just to be there for them and watch some great sports too.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, live your best life.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
People love to see us on the schedule when they have a home game because our fans show up.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
The way we travel is just phenomenal. Our parents and our community are fully engaged in our school. When we compete, we're trying to do it in a way that honors God. We want to win. We also want to do it in a way that pleases Him.
Providing Christian values and academic excellence in a nurturing environment. That's Middle Tennessee Christian School. Invest in the future of your child. Find out more at mtcscougars.org.
It's MTCS Cougar Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro.
Presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA, live your best life. Online at TOA.com.
On FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
We're back here to wrap up MTCS Cougar Corner this morning, and we need to talk some girls hoops, right? Still in action, playing Webb at 11 o'clock today for the Division II Class Single A State Championship at Tennessee Tech, and fifth meeting of the year between these two teams. So let's talk a bit about what happened to get here. Of course, in the State 12, won a close game, and then this week, in the state's Final Four, it took overtime as MTCS girls survived and advanced against a very tough CAK team. They came out kind of stifled with great team defense in the first quarter, and CAK answered by matching points, so 12-12 in the second quarter. The third and fourth quarters were back and forth. CAK came back, and then Jalen Banks, as time was expiring and CAK had a 3-point lead, hit a step-back three to send the game into overtime. Senior Autumn Davis went 4 for 4 in the OT when CAK had to foul to stop the clock, and the Lady Cougars win at 63-59 to get to that championship game today at 11 o'clock versus Webb. Jalen Banks had 31 points and 11 rebounds. Shirley had 13. It was Davis with 6, Smith with 6, Graham with 3, Knight with 2, Rucker with 2 as well. So a great first quarter in that game, tied at the end of our tie second quarter, 12-12. Then CAK had a great third quarter, winning that one by 7, and sent the game into overtime, did Banks. Man alive, what a game. and should be a great game today over at Tennessee Tech as well. So good luck to the Lady Cougars. Speaking of our Coaches Show and Cougar Corner, next week will be our final show, and our plan is to kind of do a year in review as we do each year. We hope to have President Matt Tiller on and Athletics Director Jason Piercy. That's the plan next week. It'll be at a special time, so be sure to check WGNS Sports on Twitter for the latest information about when we'll have next week's Cougar Corner program. So today, another really, really busy day in high school sports as well as MTSU sports on the radio, and that includes 12:30, the men at UTEP. That'll be on the Blue Raider Network and the Varsity app. 1:30, women's basketball versus UTEP at home. We'll have that one on radio for you. Then tonight, it's the girls' sectional game, Blackman versus Cleveland at Blackman High School. Will be on the air about 6:50. Here on News Radio, WGNS. Well, that's going to do it for our conversation this morning. John and I are going to handle next week's show. It's a little lighter show next week, and we'll have spring sports coaches. So I do want to thank Danny for being here all season long and helping us out. We really appreciate him co-hosting and has brought some great interview skills here to the program, and we certainly appreciate his work this year and look forward to next year and the years to come with Danny here on the broadcast team. Of course, John will join me next Saturday morning as we wrap up our coaches shows, and then we'll get into spring sports here real quick. It happens so quickly this time of the year. So I hope you will join next Saturday morning for our last Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner and MTCS Cougar Corner for the season. Our producer today has been Dalton Barrett. I'm Brian Barrett. Thanks so much for joining today, and we'll see you back next Saturday morning.